Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vainglory Challenger Series here, brought to you by VIS. I'm your host, Dragonborn, and we are getting into the final week of group stages as we get our finalists from the groups making it to playoffs. This is a huge week. We find out a lot about who the really good teams are and who are the teams that are not really good. Okay, to put it clearly, this is really where it counts, guys. And of course, joining me tonight, Denomine and Sean Estino are here to help break down these matches, to get us into the draft, and let's see what we've got in front of us. So, Denomine, it's been an exciting first week of Challengers. Now we're coming into week number 2. Let's talk a little bit about how we got here, because, these matchups have been insane, and really, starting with the bracket, just let's take a look at it. We are here. We've got these 2 matchups going on tonight that we'll stream. Team Hazards versus Tribe Academy and Misfits versus Necrolyte. Talk to me a little bit about these 2.
As far as Misfits versus Necrolyte goes, I think that's going to be an incredibly close matchup. Obviously, Misfits did pick up the old Tilt Rehab roster, so they've always made it very far here in Challengers since they've at least been together as a team. So that'll be very exciting to watch. Allie Peterson, one of my favorite players in the league right now, actually. She's very flexible with her draft as far as what captains she plays, as well as if you look at the execution that she makes on things like the Echo, changing up the abilities that she uses it on during certain times during the game to best adapt to what the team needs. It actually shows a very high level of discipline as far as this goes. And then, looking over at the other side.
Well, yeah, that's the
right thing here.
That's the matchup. If you look at the other side, where you're talking about Team Hazard versus Tribe next.
Well, I wanted to touch on Necrolyte a bit too. So obviously, Necrolyte, Let's Lightning T's team. Also one of my favorite players in the league. I think that he is a very, very mechanically skilled player and, can compete at the top. He's gotten several teams to the Vainglory 8. So I think that is going to be probably the most intense matchup of tonight, at least. But we also have to look, as you mentioned, Team Hazard versus Tribe Academy. Now, Team Hazard came in and knocked out the Kardashians on day 1, the 1-seed team, the team that won it all last season. And they're now all the way here against the 9-seed Tribe Academy, which is obviously laid to rest Super Shot and Pool. So that'll be a fun matchup to watch as well. We have not got to see Team Hazard on stream yet.
Well, we have not, yeah.
Getting to finally see exactly what they bring to the table is going to be fun. I don't really know what to expect as far as their draft goes, though.
Yeah, so I do want to highlight a little bit on this team because Team Hazard, it's the first time we've seen a 32nd seeded team ever make it this far in the winner's bracket. So win or lose, they've already set a record and they should be proud. It is worth noting, though, that due to the way the rosters were open, that they did add 2 extremely high tier players before roster locks were completed, but after seeding. And so they've been playing with those high-seeded players. So although they are a 32nd team, they really are one of the higher-seeded ranked teams. Actually, I would say probably a top 10 team. And they're going up against the 9-seed Tribe Academy. That means that, they honestly, if they could beat that, prove to everybody they are a top 10 team, if not even a top 5 team here in Challenger. So here's the rosters. Again, a lot of people that I don't think a lot of us really know, and actually I should mention that it's actually I think it's Eric Kane and Hello Kitty that are starting with Nazi Shot. So I'm just gonna get that updated here for you guys. So there we go. This actually should be the starting lineup here, and then of course Poole will be playing instead of Ben Smith as well. So let me update that for you guys as well. Make sure this is at least somewhat accurate. This is a big deal. To see a team this highly seeded. And granted, Tribe Academy is a fantastic roster as well. So I'm excited to see this denominate. I think you are. So I think we're ready to get into the draft here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm ready to go as soon as you are.
Yeah, so we'll be getting into this game in just a few moments. Now, if you had to pick a player to highlight as well, we're getting into the draft here. So I don't want to really hold that up. But we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second.
Before we get too far in the draft, I will go ahead and throw out that I think Super Shot is going to be a player to watch. He's been on a couple teams, including Echo Fox, and had very good performances when he plays. So I'm looking forward to see what he can bring together here. And Tribe is going to go ahead and ban away that Lyra first. And now Team Hazard is going to have to focus on what they want to ban away. I think a captain for captain even trade is nice. but we also have to consider that the Rhyme and the Krill are still on board as well.
Oh, yeah, we're just jumping into the draft here for all you viewers, so there you can see as we get into game number 1. The Rhyme ban doesn't surprise us really much, the nominee. We saw Rhyme played so much, and when he does play, his win rate, it's very high. So it makes a lot of sense that you'd ban it. Arden, now this is a hero that we've really seen utilized a lot of high success rate. Mostly Echo with the Gauntlet, it seems to be just absolutely dominant when we get into the late game.
Yeah, absolutely is. He pairs very well with those very sustainy heroes. For example, the Rona, the Kroll, the Blackfeather. Any hero that has a lot of survivability but can really go over the top with that added barrier that he can give. And they favor those long extended fights that allow them to build up things like the breaking point and really carry things away very quickly. The Kestrel pickup here with the Lance, this is also a very good combination. The Githian Wall coming out of Lance can be used very effectively against those dive compositions. And I might need a reinvite to the party, Dragon.
Uh-oh, did you get black screen or kicked out?
That or my iPad died. I'm not sure yet, though.
All right, you should be able to restart the app and get back into it as we're still moving here through the draft. It looks like with Vox being picked up here, laid to rest. Now, he has been a surprising player in the competitive scene just because he's grown so much. He's really been one of those players that over the course of multiple seasons has improved, been on different teams, and really I feel like his hero pool and skill set, and Arez is picked up, likely to be played by him. This is going to be a super shot on a Vox, a player that I think, based on how long Super Shot's been playing, really feel confident, but it's going to be the Alpha last pick by Team Hazard, and with a Lance, Alpha and Lance do together in the jungle. Their duo is very strong to nominate, and this is going to be a really hard composition to deal with because even the Reza, it's a bursty comp from the side of Tribe to get that Reza on, but if he doesn't get a kill, he's going to really have to deal with that sustain coming out of Hazard's roster right now.
Yeah, definitely is. I am going to need a reinvite, though, Dragon, if you can make that happen.
I don't think I can, so if it's not letting you get back in, no?
Nope.
Rip. Well, it looked like it might be shot at iCast in game number 1. I don't think I could get out of here and get you invited again because the game has started. So,
hey, well, you guys enjoy.
All right, Dave. Well, we'll catch you. We'll catch you up after this one. Then we'll get you back in. No, it's not your fault at all. So
I'll go hang out with the chat.
All right, sounds good. All right, Sean. It's actually you and I for game number 1 here. Let's jump right into it as this is bound to be an exciting matchup. Between Tribe and Hazard. And again, Hazard, although they're seeded 32, it's worth noting, they have been able to take out some of the best teams here so far.
Yeah, it sounds like it, Dragonborn. What I'm expecting to see out of this matchup so far is I want to see a lot of protection from Arden. Pool going on to Super Shot and Laid to Rest. We know that with Laid to Rest, on this Reza pick here, a lot of teams have been focusing down the Reza because we know he's really squishy early game. And there's Engage.
Yeah, they go right in, look into the nice Impale, split the team up, and then of course Alpha goes in, and of course all that AoE damage coming out of Erica Kane, has been really strong. Oh, there's another nice jump in to get that damage. Pools drop. First blood already for Hazard. And this team really has been the Cinderella story of the entire bracket. Just because this roster came out of nowhere, we'll just have to see how far they go. But already a nice early start, picking up a small gold lead and getting that first blood kill.
Yeah, they totally got that first blood kill. Hello Kitty doing a lot of work here early already. Trying to siege up this turret, but not really making it happen. Super Shot's taking quite a bit of damage. Protector contract comes through for Pool. That's going to be important because he really needs to take care of his two squishies here, the Reza and this Vox. However, Laid to Rest and Super Shot do have a lot of mobility, and that's going to really help them in repositioning during these team fights.
Yeah, it will be. The other thing, too, Hello Kitty on the Kestrel, a lot of damage that will come out of there in the mid-game. So if Kestrel does get an early lead, that could be pretty monstrous. We see Laid to Rest rotating up here, looks to try to get onto Neuroso. Shot does get the kill. Nice job. Takes only a little bit of damage from the turret, and then turns their attention onto Erica Cade. Erica Cade's just going to have to be happy to push, try to clear out this minion wave. It is candied, so it's going to take a little bit of time. And this is going to now allow a clean rotation from Tribe. They're going to get the jungle and possibly the Elder Treant. Not sure if it's going to be contested, but a good look from Tribe coming in here to not let that early game kill that went over to Hazard kind of like, change their strategy or sway them, as they still have a strong game ahead of them so far. Now where we see Hello Kitty and Naruso's shot pushing into the lane. They're going to try to keep this lane pressure in front of the turret of Tribe. But it's been a good game so far for both teams. A nice look. It doesn't look like either team have really, caved into the aggression. Both teams playing their strengths. Super shot low here in the lane. But Sean, this is definitely going to be an interesting game here, as Lane to Rest needs to make sure that he doesn't allow Alpha to snowball him early.
Yeah, please don't. It looks like we have Erica Kane diving in there pretty well. And looks like they're just going to go ahead and back off a little bit. A lot of poke, and look at the energy. It's just so low for Super Shot right now. He's just going to continue to farm up. But Laid to Rest really needs to continue to farm. He's actually sitting at 20 right now, getting about even, just about 2 behind compared to Erica Kane. He needs to get himself that aftershock. Once he hits that big power spike, he's going to be able... Oh, Pool's going really low up in the lane once again. Yeah. But once Late to Rest gets that aftershock, he's going to be able to get a lot more burst damage out of this Reza here. And he'll be able to get some lifesteal as well. So his fire starter is going to be able to, apply some bonus damage after he procs it with the Troublemaker. Once he uses those in tandem with the aftershock, he's going to get some really good value out of this Reza here.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what they need to do. The question is, if they don't get the early game moving at all, if they get so far behind, the Alpha is going to be just too tanky to take out, and the burst that comes out for Late to Rest might not be enough to get the job done. We do see ports coming back across for both teams. Hello Kitty now rotating back up to the lane to just finally come in after port back. There's an aftershock purchase by Reza, so he's going to get a good power spike coming in here, and he's actually going to rotate up to the lane just to see if he can take advantage of this recent purchase, but the lane's pushed up pretty high, but there's Erica Kane, goes in, tries to get on. There's a nice prime directive coming out of him, and again, the lane pushed all the way up. Minion candies being used by both teams pretty effectively to try to keep this more of a pressured game, Sean.
I should also point out that Erica Kane has an aftershock as well on this alpha here, so that's going to allow for that lifesteal and CP burst damage coming out of her or him as well. I'm not sure if Erica Kane, male player or female player, but either way, we have fountains picked up by Naisu shot on this Lance here. Same with Pool on this Arden. So we're going to have some really good sustain coming out. Mm-hmm. The gold and the net worth for both teams is pretty even right now if you take a look at it. And if you take a look at the farm, in the jungle, we see a pretty close game right here, 35 and 33 for Erica Kane and Laid to Rest on those junglers respectively. And if you look at the lane, it's pretty close too. Super Shot is only 2 farm behind Hello Kitty. 1 shot, 1 kill comes out. Doesn't hit miss. Though.
Yeah, you're right. It's a close game, and this is a nice job by Tribe to, again, not let that early aggression from Hazards kind of throw them off their feet. Maybe just get them a little bit concerned. Again, they're playing their game. They know, all right, we lost that first engagement, but this is the Vox Reza comp. This can still do a lot of damage and still can get onto the target. Really, their target has to be Kestrel. But one of the things I will mention is the Lance Alpha. If they don't engage correctly, that will just blow them up with a wrong over aggression coming out of Tribe. Now we do see, there's Hazard going in. Prime Directive doesn't get that tree end. Link to Rest is now going to punish Erica Kane for that. And nice job to dodge the impale. This is what we're talking about. This is what Tribe has to do, is they have to constantly stay on their toes, play smart, and they'll be able to get these kills and probably come back into this game.
The interaction that we're seeing between Tribe's members is that there's a lot of reposition here. Even from the Vanguard, it gives them that 2 movements. I mean, Erica Kane goes in.
Yeah, he does go in. 1 shot, 1 kill to follow through. There's an ult coming out from Reza as Laid to Rest looks to move in. Gauntlet drops, and they're going to find a kill, but it's a trade as Laid to Rest dropped right shortly after. Now it's Super Shot trying to go toe-to-toe with Erica Kane, but Alpha does so much damage. Erica Kane's going to back off after falling within turret range. Doesn't want to take too many of turret shots, but Super Shot too low to stay near his turret. Has to port back. It's just pull up here in the lane, trying to see if he can keep the turret alive by deflecting the path of the minions. Erica Kane's actually very low. He was taking a little bit of damage from the minions as well. There's a miss, pull. He's low, backs off, and he does a success at keeping that turret from getting re-engaged by the enemy team, by Hazard. Just in time for Super Shot and late to rest to come back up to the lane.
Overall, that was a better trade, Dragonborn, for Hazard, because they got so much damage down on that turret. It's about a quarter of its health right now. And looks like we see Hello Kitty having to go into active camo, back off a little bit.
Yeah. But, Root comes in. Super Shot, though. It's a trade. Wow. Lance just got blown up by Reza. This is the burst we were talking about. But they got to watch out. Termination Protocol gets one. It's still late to rest alive. Erica Kane so close to dropping, but he's going to be able to boot back up. And there's the kill. Hello Kitty and Erica Kane find it. That's an ace. And this is going to be a turret.
Beautiful, well-placed active camo trap from Hello Kitty on this Kestrel. They knew that laid to rest was going to come down at the exact spot that he was going to. They put it down there, and as soon as he landed, stunned him up while he was in Nether Form Detonator. Really well-timed crowd control. And because of that, they were able to get the ace, secure that turret, immense gold payout going over them too, and they cleaned out the jungle. And now we have a Tyrant's Monocle as Hello Kitty's reward being picked up too. It's all looking good right now. Erica Kane as well has a broken myth, so he's going to be able to get some really good pierce coming out of this alpha whenever he does his ability attacks.
Yeah, with the Prime Directive and the Core Charge land onto the targets, especially if they could get all of Tribe lumped up. There's one shot, one killed wide. Goes right in between Tribe. If they could get everyone lumped up, the AoE damage will definitely pack a punch. As you see, with Broken Myth coming out already, that's a lot of pierce. But it's been a very close game otherwise. Tribe do need to come back into this game. Now they're starting to fall a little bit behind, but they're not far enough behind that they would have to be too concerned. A lot of this is going to be hinging on Super Shot, just getting the farm he needs fast enough. He does need just one more tier 3 item to help him out. These breaking point stacks, they don't stack quite fast enough in the early part of the game. And of course, once he gets that third tier 3 item, those breaking point stacks will stack much faster. And that's a game that Vox could win, even against an alpha.
Yeah, he's got that breaking point. He's got that Sorrow Blade. He needs to get a little bit of mobility. Thankfully, he's picked up a reflex block too. So that I'm not too sure. Well, I guess he could be blocking active camo, but that's kind of hard to predict sometimes. We do see a Dragon's Eye picked up for laid to rest on this Reza here. So he's going to be able to stack up quite a bit of damage as long as he stays in these team fights too.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely what needs to happen here. Now, Super Shot does a nice job. Sonic zooms away from the one shot as it goes in. Impale misses, splits everybody up, but there's a nice Scythian wall. So far, neither team hard committing to the fight. Everyone just clearing the lane still, but they're all within range of the engage. Erica Kane and Neuroshot are about half health, so they're a little low. Granted, though, we know that doesn't necessarily stop an alpha, as they just get to clear out the lane, poking, seeing what they can get for it. But right now, Tribe, they've got a slight edge in health, so they're going to be able to stay in the lane and keep clearing, hoping to try to keep applying pressure onto Hazards. And so far, doing a good job. A little bit of health again taken out for both teams, but Tribe are able to rotate down after not giving up too much damage.
It's interesting that you bring up the whole health trade thing, because we do have Erica Kane here on this alpha, and there's a lot of health on alpha. It's pretty much a double health bar. We've got a lot of items coming out. Atlas Pauldron picked up. Metal Jacket picked up by Pool. Atlas Pauldron picked up by Nisu Shot. So they really want to shut down Vox, Super Shot, and make sure he doesn't have a lot of damage output. Cut his damage per second in half. It looks like they're going to be sieging up this turret a little bit here.
Yeah, they siege up, but they're not going to be able to get damage onto it just yet. Right as the barrier fell, Hello Kitty was able to clear. There's a block on the Impale. Super Shot doesn't want to get trapped. One shot, one kill is going to come out, but there's a Prime Directive. Core collapse, and here comes the Termination Protocol. Does it find the damage? It does not. Erica Kane, though, is now going to pay the price. Super Shot does get rooted up, and they aren't able to take down Erica Kane in time. Reza does ult, but is not going to find anybody in that. And of course, while there's no kills just yet, Super Shot is extremely low, and oh boy, He might be going down here. There it is. AoE from the Prime Directive right there across the minions was able to get over that wall and find the kill. And Hazards, they are up to 6 kills to 3, Sean. They are looking like they're going to get a gold mine here and take a substantial gold lead here going into about the 13-minute.
About a 4,000 gold lead here for Team Hazard. They showed a lot of patience in that last team fight, having the rest of the team. Oh, there's still another engage.
There is another engage as they try to stop this gold mine fight. That's all laid to rest and pool 1. They go in, put laid to rest. He gets a good position on the high ground, but he's not able to steal it away. Now he might be in trouble. Nurshaw is low. And they're re-engaging. All comes out, but it's blocked. Just trying to keep their health pool up here. Here comes the wait for it. So this is where Super Shy at full health can really do some damage. Late to rest now has to watch out. Doesn't want to drop to Erica Cade. And there comes the fountain from Nourishot. It's been spent by Pool already, as well as the Crucible. So he's got nothing left in the tank. Now Super Shot has to watch out. He's applying the procs. He's got 11 breaking point stacks, but there's a full team of Hazards coming in. He's not able to do the damage, and he drops. And of course, unfortunately, was late to rest who had to get out of there. Didn't want to give up the ace in that case. I mean, for as low as Hazards were, Sean, it just seemed like they were not backing down. They wanted this fight.
They wanted this fight, all right. What they did was so smart. They actually had Alpha continually going into the fight, doing all the AoE damage with her prime directives, getting up those core charge stacks too, and Naisu shot on this lance, repositioning, locking down with these impales. He's been doing such a good job peeling for his team and making sure that these mobile targets are becoming stationary targets, so it's easier for the rest of Team Hazard to hit. These carries, Hello Kitty here and Erica Kane, they're able to, their Lance is able to facilitate so well for this Kestrel and this Alpha just because he's being able to stun them up, knocking them into walls. Where does Lance want to fight? Lance wants to fight in the jungle where he has rocks surrounding him, walls everywhere to stun up his opponents into with those Githian walls.
Absolutely. Yep, that's what they want. We'll just have to see if they could execute on it effectively. The game is, again, in favor of Hazard. They've got this strong lead, Sean, but I get one bad team fight, of course, could turn things around. The one thing we are waiting on is Super Shot to get to that third tier 3 item. Instead, he's gone for that defense. Prioritizing that breaking, that metal jacket. So here, but we have the fight. It's breaking out. Gauntlet comes in over the wall, splits up Hello Kitty from Alpha and Lance, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Late to rest drops very low. All is dodged out. Nurshot has to use a foul. He's very low. Looking to come in here. Late to rest. He took a bit of heat, but he was able to get out. And now Pool, after taking the one shot, backs off. They're going to all teleport and expose their turret here. It looks like Hazards could be able to push up onto this and get another turret if Tribe doesn't get back in time. But it looks like they might get back in time. And a good fight by Hazards. Again, they are able to apply the pressure. And it seems like no matter what the side of Tribe does, they're not able to get a kill. They get close, but they're just a little short.
They're always just a little short, and I feel like it's because Supershot is not able to sustain himself in these team fights. Weapon Infusion actually picked up by Hello Kitty right there. They want to fight.
They do want to fight. They move back up in here. This is what Alpha wants, right up against that turret wall. There's a nice Prime Directive, moves in, core charge. We're going to be still waiting. Kestrel does a lot of damage, and Hello Kitty gets the kill. There's a trade here as Lance drops, but Super Shot, he's so low. Pool gets the kill onto Hello Kitty, but I think Erica Cade here has plenty of damage to turn this around, get the ace here. Yeah, there's the Prime Directive to finish it off. He's actually probably going to be able to get this Crystal Sentry too, but instead moves up, has a clean lane to take this turret on, and engage on this turret, and get another objective. That's the best fight we've seen Tribe execute on, but it still was not enough, Sean.
No, it wasn't enough. And I feel like it's just Erica Kane needs to be shut down here. Look at how many times he's able to reboot during these team fights. Atlas Pauldron just picked up by him. So he's going to be able to come in now. And we have double Atlas Pauldrons on the side of Team Hazard. They're going to be able to really minimize the effect that Supershot has in this team fights. 8-0-3 Erica Kane is sitting at right now. Aftershock, Broken Myth, working on another CP damage item with this crystal bit here. Things are just looking pretty grim right now. If I am Tribe, I feel like I would need to turtle up a little bit, maybe kite away a little bit more, and just not pick fights in the jungle. If they're going to pick fights anywhere, they're going to have to pick fights in the lane, but they're forced to fight near the Kraken.
They are. They move in. They're trying to get near their Crystal Sentry as it's back up. There's a nice res lands on all three members, but doesn't really do that much damage. And Super Shot, he gets slowed up here a little bit, but he's able to wear off the Atlas Pauldron, and there's the damage coming out. Oh my goodness, at 17, 18 breaking point stacks, they are able to get the kill onto Alpha finally, and then turn their attention onto Kraken. Nourishot is just, I'm saying his name completely wrong, guys. I'm just going to call him Shot.
Nice Shot.
Nice Shot. He's too low to be able to re-engage here. He might be able to get a Kraken steal, but honestly, that would just give 500 gold over to each member of Tribe. So he's, again, doing the right thing. Able to just kind of, I think he's just trying to slow their takedown, allow Hello Kitty and Erica K to get back up.
I just figured it out. It's nice Shot.
Oh, it's nice.
Because he stole it. He stole
what?
The
Oh my goodness. And right when Kestrel came back up, this is a huge problem for Tribe. They're going to have to get back up. Wow, Sean. I mean, that kind of happened right at the perfect time.
It totally did, and now I know why he calls himself Nice Shot, because he's so good at landing his CC, those impales. He waited, so much patience for him to wait in the bush like that, and we have Erica Kane diving in.
Yeah, huge loss for Tribe. That's not what they wanted after winning their first team fight, and now they've got a Kraken barreling down on this last lane turret, and he's probably going to get it. There comes a root. Reflex block too late. Super Shot, he's way too low. Erica Kane tries to jump in. Termination Protocol has to redirect. Gets stunned up by the Gauntlet's not going to land it. And now Tribe are able to try to turn their attention back onto Hazard. Hazard's not laying up though. They keep pulling in. Pull. He almost goes down. Only a few health left. Super Shot trying to find something. He finds Hello Kitty. Does he get the kill? It goes in. Nourishot is dropping very low, but he's able to get. Although Nice Shot, he is actually going to go down. So that is a kill. And now they're going to be able to try to get this turret. But oh my goodness, there's no turrets left. Kraken's almost low. Erica Kane's going to go down. But can Kestrel swing around here and get the damage needed to close out this game? Hello Kitty going to drop one more shot. Does it?
Oh!
Unbelievable. And just like that, Hazards have won game number 1 of this series.
That was an amazing series. It was a slow ramp-up, Dragon, but we have a victory for Team Hazard. This 32-seed team, this is the story of VIS this autumn season right now. A 32-seed team going up against a much higher-seeded team, seed number 9 for Tribe. Oh, sorry, for seed number 4 for Misfits. Wait, we're on Tribe. Sorry. 9 for Tribe. And just taking them out. This is not something I would have expected from all these players, but Nice Shot just facilitating so much for his team, getting godly impales and Githian walls, and Erica Kane sustaining so much on this alpha, doing so much AoE damage. That is what shut down the carries and the rest of Tribe.
Yeah, absolutely. What a heck of a game. And I think we got Denamine coming back into this in just a few seconds as we'll be getting ready for game number 2. But wow, what a close game too. And it really looked like Tribe was coming back into this. The huge problem was just that Kraken steal prevented all hope from Tribe to find a push. They weren't even able to take down the Kraken right away. And so a massive upset for Tribe going into this game, into this matchup with Hazards already up 1-0. Now they could come back into this. We could, of course, easily get a 3-game series because that's the kind of skill that we're talking about between these two teams. So with that, just let me check here real quickly. And we'll see if we can get a re-invite back in for Denamine. Unfortunately, him getting knocked out right before we went in. That was a little weird situation there, but looks like it all worked out. Wasn't too bad, Sean.
No, it wasn't too bad. He's not even in
He's back.
On the is he back?
Yeah, he's back. We got him back here.
Okay, great.
All right, so I'm not sure as we're kind of catching up with the stream here. Denamine, you should have been able to catch that game, hopefully. Any thoughts real quickly before we get into game number 2?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say I predicted that one from the draft. The Alpha Lance combination is an incredibly devastating one right now. The Reza is a nice pickup, but just doesn't offer the same damage as the Alpha. It's very similar damage, but the sustainability that Alpha provides is just so much greater, as well as the termination protocols were landing every single time, taking somebody out. I think that's something you have to consider if you are a tribe looking at this next
absolutely
game.
do. You got to be very careful. Everything you do, you got to take these teams seriously. And I'm sure Tribe absolutely took this game seriously, but they started off really behind, and that was not what you wanted to do with an Alpha. You needed to start off strong, and unfortunately, Reza's just too squishy to do the engagement, so they need to be a little bit cautious until Reza could get to like level 3 with an item, and then try to engage. But they were starting to win the mid-game day. They won a team fight. They were able to almost get Kraken, but that Kraken steal. And what do you do in that circumstance? They knew Lance was there waiting. Do you just try to take out Lance and bait him into the Kraken steal? Or do you feel like that was such a once-in-a-million moment for Lance? Because typically Lance's Impale is so much damage against Kraken that it is known for being very good at getting those Kraken steals.
Yeah, the base damage of that Impale is actually very high. So I think that is something you have to be wary about. If timed correctly, right, it does do a decent chunk. So it's a tough situation to be in, because just against the captain, you have to feel like your team's just going to, be able to put the damage output quick enough to try to lock that down without the contest coming through. Mm-hmm. But again, beautiful timing coming out of the Lance there, was able to steal it away. And, it was a fight that Tribe was able to find just because they hit a power spike at that particular time with the Reza. But it just, again, it doesn't keep up with Alpha all game long.
All right, well, we got the bans in. Make sure you're in this game this time, Denamine.
I am, as long as I don't get a black screen again.
Yeah, that would be tragic here. So Rhyme and Black are the two bans. Same bans as last game, but in reverse from A side to B side. Lyra is going to be that first pickup here for Team Hazard. So going with the heal. And with the bans being pretty predictable, everything else kind of just falls into place. With Rhyme always being banned, you've got to be careful about the Alpha pick, right? Because if there's no CC, Alpha can really get in and out of fights without a lot of, contest.
Yeah, and, the Lyra doesn't have the same kind of interaction with an Alpha, but I do think an Alpha even would be a strong pickup here just because of that extra sustain. It's not a Lance locking targets down, allowing Alpha to just go crazy, but, it is a lot of sustainable addition to Alpha that already has so much health, as well as with that infinite reboot can get back up for that second life. It's just very difficult to deal with, but they go with the Rona, and the Rona is a very good duelist right now, but can be susceptible a little bit to the Catherine based on that very natural, easy to target stun.
Well, this could be crazy because they are looking to go with, Alpha and Rona. So this is just an unbelievable melee composition that, again, having a Rhyme would have been fantastic, but now you don't. So how do you deal with this? You've got the poke hero from Super Shot. If you stay away from the fight, you'd be good. But it seems like you need another strong front line here to try to, or some kind of crowd control counter. And they're eyeing that Baptiste. Is Baptiste enough to keep Rona and Alpha off of that Kestrel? Oh, they go with the Ozo.
They go with the Ozo, and I think this is a good pick into the Alpha in the Rona usually. But the Lyra is kind of what makes me stray away from it. That Bright Bulwark can be so devastating to an Ozo that I really think time and time again, Hazard has won this draft.
Oh, I really agree. The Ozo's such a risk. Now, I think early, if they could win the early engage, if Kestrel could snowball, I think you're in great shape. So, we'll just have to wait and see. We are jumping into game number 2 here between Tribe, Academy, and Team Hazards. So let's jump right into it. And of course, to get us into the fold, it's Denamine and Sean Ostino.
All right, Sean, I made it in this time. We're going to have some fun here. We have, obviously, Erica Kane back here on the Alpha. Great performance last game. And Hello Kitty going to be on this Rona, looking for that really heavy, aggressive dive to get to Super Shot.
Yeah, I guess so, Denamine. I'm glad you're here. I'm expecting a nice shot. Whoa, it looks like he's poking out and he's going really low already.
Yeah, but it's going to be close. Poole does not have that Merciless Pursuit. He's not going to be able to get that kill unless if he gets it here in a second. But with the whole team coming, it would be pretty risky. The flask is popped. Nisa shot is going to make it out alive. topping himself off a little bit more with that Imperial Sigil and going to be safe to rejoin the team at fairly, reasonable health at this point for how low he was. And it is just going to be this Elder Treant started up, and Pool doing a good job trying to zone out here, and it is going to be going over to Laid to Rest. I would have liked them to give that one to Super Shot just based on his health. But with that Imperial Sigil down, smart to just go ahead and take it away. Make sure you can get a little bit of an early edge. And Laid to Rest, looking for some jungle aggression here, but Erica Kane is coming down. Will Laid to Rest be able to clean this out quick enough? A good A over the wall there is going to allow Erica Kane to come in and get the CS. And now it is a battle of Ozo running away from Alpha at this point. Again, so much sustained, and another beautiful Prime Directive comes through, and it will be Nisa shot getting the kill onto the Ozo. But beautiful plays coming out of Erica Kane there. She started up that Elder Treant in the back, skipped it to come down and contest, was able to secure her farm, as well as they were able to get a kill as well.
Really good rotation out of Nisa's shot, seeing what was going on their side of the jungle and just helping, doing that facilitation for Erica Kane. Now Erica Kane is looking like she might be able to take out Laid to Rest, but there's another fight in the jungle on the side of Tribe Academy.
Yeah, it's Laid to Rest going to go ahead and pop the boots and make it out, though. So, I'm kind of interested to see how this game goes. We talked about it a little bit with Dragonborn in the draft. I'm not a huge fan of the Ozo into the Lyra. It does make sense into the double melee on the other team. You'll be able to get a lot of splash damage down onto both of those carries. But if your acro bounce gets canceled out by that bulwark, then you're kind of in a rough spot. So what does this Ozo have to do here?
Well, I think this Ozo needs to really pick his fights. They need to bait out the bulwark. That's a really good thing about Lyra, and what Nisa Shot has in the kit is they could just throw up that bulwark, and it's got a bit of a cooldown on it. But if it gets to late game, we could see an echo come out on that bulwark, and that would be really difficult to deal with. If Laid to Rest can maybe get down a Bangarang after the bulwark has been lowered, then that could be good if they could take out this Lyra. As you know, she is probably the squishiest of the heroes here on the side of Hazard. Oh, Pool's going low.
Pool is going low. He is going to make it out alive and Laid to Rest now, looking to get damage onto Erica Kane, but another beautiful Prime Directive is going to get her over to the turret and allow her to get out safely. And now Hazard is all regrouped, and they will be looking in a good spot. They did get that first blood a little bit ago, so that will be a little bit of a burst of gold into their pockets. We're obviously already 1.3, working on that 1.5k gold advantage already, as now Laid to Rest, just looking to try to get to some of his farm at this point, is down a level on Erica Kane, who will have that termination protocol up a little bit early. But we kind of were talking about what the Ozo needs to do in this game. Do you expect that Bangarang to come out on Lyra just to put her on that front line?
I would expect it to come out on the Lyra just because she's the squishiest of the... I feel like she's the squishiest of the heroes on the side of Hazard. The other heroes, we do see Erica Kane on this alpha, has 2 lives, essentially. Super Shot's going a little low.
Yeah, Super Shot getting low. He's not going to make it out. It is going to be a Prime Directive coming out of Erica Kane that is also going to bump her over to the level 6 mark. The Prime Directive and Termination Protocol combination now can be activated. And if it gets onto Super Shot, if that detonation is able to get onto this squishy Kestrel, which is very likely going to go for offensive items to try to poke out that front line heavily, then that could be just a 1-2 punch to take Super Shot down. This turret has taken a lot of damage in the lane as well, as Pool is very low on health. And they actually do not have a fountain yet, whereas the side of Team Hazard, they're ready to go. Lyra has the fountain, the proc is ready, and now Pool having to rotate down to pick that up. Fortunately, they did not capitalize early enough there to try to get a kill. They could have forced out a lot of damage and maybe taken the turret. But, the lack of vision there for a second definitely made it difficult to make that call, as now Pool is in the lane, probably just looking to hold off on some minions here. Builds up a stack onto Hello Kitty, who's now level 6 as well. So we'll have that the red mist available and that's going to provide a lot of damage. If Laid to Rest is committing into a fight, he's going to be right in the range of that ability.
Not only does it provide a lot of damage to Nominate, but it also provides a lot of fortified health. If Hello Kitty is able to get off these red mists, then on a lot of members of Tribe Academy, there's going to be a lot of protection for her.
Hold on, Laid to Rest has gone in. There's that acro bounce, but the bright bulwark comes down, and now it's Laid to Rest losing his life. And a good stun coming out of Super Shot there is going to save his life. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to save this turret. I think they just have to run. It's already dropped down. Super Shot going to make it out barely. And oh no, he doesn't. The core overload there coming out. It's another kill as now Ozo is coming in, taking a lot of damage, dropping as well. Another kill going over to Nisa Shot. And now Hazard could even be looking to take another turret or just the jungle rotation here out of the side of Tribe. And this Alpha is really just running away with this game again. And I'm kind of surprised Tribe let it go through after the game 1 performance.
Not only running away with this game, but running away with the series. This Erica Kane Alpha is godly if I've ever seen one. This is the Terminator in the Halcyon fold right now. They're doing such great plays here. Just when you think that Laid to Rest or Super Shot is out of range, those prime directives are coming down and annihilating them. Look at the score lines we have right now. It's 5-0 right here for Team Hazard. Laid to Rest 0-3 at the moment. 0-2 for Super Shot. Pool doing a little bit of work here as the captain, not necessarily keeping the team alive, but at least 16 captain of the guard stacks. So if he could keep doing that, he could end up being a little bit closer to being unkillable late game. But still, Serpent's Mask here on Hello Kitty. We've got Crucible and Fountain. A lot of sustain coming out of Nisa Shot. The Aftershock. Erica Kane's working on her next CP damage item. We're going to see what that's going to be. But this is just
Super Shot,
game.
You're caught out. And here comes the Prime Directive. It doesn't matter. Nisa Shot comes through with a third kill, stealing that one away from Hello Kitty, who's sitting at 5 assists now. Feels bad, man. But now it is Hazard turning their attention onto the gold mine. Pool does sense it's going on. And you mentioned the captain of the guard stacks. So we are up at 17. The problem here for me is obviously that for your captain, the defense is primarily going to be used for skill shot based attacks, right? Something like a Scarf Spitfire, anything that you can actually intercept. We don't have that here. This situation is going to be Rona and Alpha both trying to focus onto one target, burst that one squishy target backline down. So the only thing that Pool can really intercept is possibly that Prime Directive, which also has a big burst of AoE on the end. But here comes Pool looking for the stun. They might find a kill onto Hello Kitty. They're not going to. The Fountain going to come through. Actually, it was just the Imperial Sigil comes through as well as that Flask. And that's going to keep Hello Kitty pretty healthy here. And they're going to be able to defend this turret as well. The other Imperial Sigil is going to come out just to kind of get a little bit of additional top-off health here. But now it's Erica Kane onto Laid to Rest here in the jungle. Huge chunks of damage. Laid to Rest dropping like a fly. And now Erica Kane turning their attention onto this Crystal Sentry. Hazard is taking this game by storm.
Dropping like a diseased plague monkey right there. We have Pool could also... Oh, this fight's not ending, Denominate.
No, it's not. Now it might be, though, as the Bright Bulwark's going to prevent that engage coming out. Pool taking a lot of damage. A beautiful Prime Directive. Threads the needle, comes through, and finds Super Shot and Laid to Rest. But the Termination Protocol not quite going to make it. A good Crucible comes through, does save a little bit out of Alpha. It's not quite enough. And now Tribe might actually be looking for their first fight of this game. It is going to be Laid to Rest falling, and out of the fray from Rona might make it out safely. 1 second on the Merciless Pursuit. Can Pool do it? Oh, man, and that is not good for the side of Team Hazard. That's pretty sizable bounties coming out, specifically from Erica Kane there, going over into their pockets. So still quite behind in gold on the side of Tribe. We're sitting at 6,000 deficit, but definitely a shining light there that they still can compete in this game. And if you don't respect their damage and you overstep, and they can punish you for it. So I'm excited to see Tribe at least, come up with a fight for themselves.
We do see an Echo picked up by Pool right now. So with those double blast tremors coming out, this could be a little bit of a sticky situation for Hazard. They just have to be really careful. However, Nisa Shot has been really good at blocking a lot of these
Erica
abilities.
Kane dropping very, very low. The double blast tremor comes out. That is going to drop Alpha down. No termination protocol going to come out this fight. She will reboot, though, and now going to look for some more damage. Laid to rest, bouncing around this fight, finding good damage. They find Nisa Shot, and now they're turning onto Erica Kane again. Here comes the acro bounce across the map. Laid to rest. Not quite going to have it. That was a very interesting choice of acro bounce. And the burst coming out of Alpha, just a little bit too much. They're able to find a return kill. Hello Kitty going to jump out of the fray again, get out to safety. And Tribe, they find another kill, but maybe not the most convincing of fights. They did trade 1-for-1, and they traded a jungler for a captain. So yes, it's still a little bit of a benefit in their pocket, but I mean, it's not the target you're looking for. And if you're focusing your damage onto Lyra, it's going to allow Erica Kane and Hello Kitty to, be able to just run away with the fights. And the only reason that fight was as close as it was is Erica Kane got caught out a little bit too far, got stunned, and double silenced underneath that crystal sentry. So, Sean, yes, Tribe did something there, but I think it was more of a mistake than anything else by the side of Hazard.
Yeah, I think you're right. We do normally see Nisa Shot having really good bright bulwarks and great crucibles that have been blocking bangerangs. We do have Super Shot picked up a Tyrant's Monocle, so that's going to give him some serious damage. They're looking to fight because a level 11 weapon fusion is actually picked up as well by Super Shot. Laid to Rest has picked up the Dragon's Eye too, so that's going to allow him to stack up some really good ability damage here. We also do see a Sora Blade picked up by Hello Kitty, and she has a breaking point too, so that's going to be some serious damage if we get some red mist going off.
Yeah, good termination, or Prime Directive coming through, finds a lot of damage onto Super Shot. He's forced out of the fight. Hello Kitty is going to get dropped, though, jumping on in. There goes the Bangarang. They're finding a lot of damage. Will Super Shot make it out alive? Termination protocol not going to land onto the right targets. And just like that, Tribe has found another good fight on a little bit of an overcommit coming out of the side of Hazard. And now they're looking to find the first turret of the game. They might even find an ace here, Sean. One more hit'll do it. There it is. There's the ace for Tribe. And just like that, it's a bit of gold going over into their pocket. Super Shot barely made it out of that last fight, but he did make it out of the last fight is the key there. Not quite 15 minutes, though, so they're not able to get a Kraken off the back of that beautiful engagement.
What made it so beautiful, Denominate, was that Super Shot was repositioning the hell out of himself. He was throwing down active camos, moving, juking to the side, shooting at the enemies when they were getting into the active camo traps. That created so much damage, so many stuns. Nisa Shot wasn't able to deal with that amount of damage with the sustain that's coming out of his kit.
Yeah, and we also haven't seen any blast tremors get blocked yet. And at this point in the tournament, we really got to be looking for that. Super Shot gets picked off very early on here. Hazard looking for the second kill onto Laid to Rest. And now the Crystal Sentry drops, 1 life remaining. Kraken will be on the board in 5 seconds. And with 20-second death timers on Laid to Rest and Super Shot, I think they're going to start the Kraken up. But there is an opportunity that Tribe could come in and get the steal. We'll just have to see how they end up playing it out. There's so much single target damage here on Hazard. They should be able to take this Kraken pretty easily. But now with Pool here trying to get some vision, would be nice to see a steal come here out of Pool. He has overdriven the Storm Guard, so no Merciless Pursuit or Blast Tremor overdriven yet. We'll have to see which one they go for. It's actually Hazard that pulls off of the Kraken now at this point and might even look for a fight here. It is going to be Hello Kitty hanging around here just waiting, and now Tribe could be in a rough spot. Oh, here comes the Prime Directive onto Pool. They come in. The Bright Bulwark comes down. Not quite in the greatest spot, but they're still able to find a lot of damage onto Super Shot. They find a kill. The Termination Protocol has not even been used yet. A Prime Directive gonna help lock down this ace. And now Rona likely gonna take down the Crystal Sentry, look to push a turret by herself, while it is Alpha and the Lyra that go ahead and take down this Kraken. There will be no way that Tribe can possibly get a steal here shy of an instantly respawn and a one-shot, one-kill. But Erica Kane and Nysa Shot are positioning themselves on that side of the Kraken. They know it's potentially coming. Supershot not even going to take the chance. He wants that ability for the next fight, but that's another turret now for the side of Hazard.
You know what I noticed, Denominate, is that every time Supershot goes down early, that's where we've been seeing the fights go the way of Team Hazard. So I bet Nysa Shot is really glad that in 2.9 we saw a buff for Lyra on the range of her principal Arcanum, because he was able to throw that thing and finish off Supershot in the last team fight to help them get that ace. But this Kraken is marching towards the choke point turret right now. And I must say, Team Hazard is looking really commanding right now with an 8,000 gold lead. And they are just finishing off this choke point turret. They're marching into the base.
Yeah, 8,000 gold in the lead, 8 kills in the lead. It is a stun coming down onto Erica Kane. Very healthy still. Actually, Erica Kane just going right onto the turret. And it's Hello Kitty looking for damage onto Laid to Rest. The breaking point is starting to stack up. They've turned their attention onto Erica Kane. Termination Protocol will come through and help take down that turret. This Kraken's still over half health. I think Hazard has done it. The 32 seed, keeping the dream alive, are able to take down Tribe, and they will be moving on further into the winners bracket. In every single series they win, Sean, is another record set. We've never seen a 32 seed make it through the winners bracket past the first game. So now them making it this far, they're hugely making a name for themselves.
To nominate, I don't know what time it is right now for Team Hazard, but the midnight has not been struck. This Cinderella story is going to continue for them because they are doing an amazing job right here. Erica Kane on this godly, immortal, may I say, Alpha, 7, 3, and 4 here with nothing more than an aftershock and a broken myth, but just so much damage. You saw there with those termination protocols, over 700 damage was done to that turret. Oh man, it's just unbelievable. The focus that's coming out of Team Hazard right now is just unbelievable, and I'm so glad to see them here in VIS.
Absolutely. And to help us get ready for the next matchup will be Misfits versus Necrolyte, as well as maybe help us break down a little bit more on what we just witnessed out of Team Hazard. We're going to be heading over to the desk with Dragonborn.
Thank you, Denominate, and thank you, Sean. That was a heck of a matchup, and Team Hazard's with a clean series. I wouldn't call it, a clean, game, but 2-0, able to get those series, move on to the playoffs. And as you guys said, this is, of course, history of the making. It's the first time a 32-seeded team has ever made it to the playoffs in the winners bracket, and I believe ever made it to the playoffs ever. So it's quite an accomplishment. Granted, there's always going to be an asterisk, I think, to nominate. These guys came in. There were some roster changes. These guys are all Vainglorious Silver, if not close to Vainglorious Gold, on the counts of the ones who are playing. All followed by the rules, but, in a way where they decided that they wanted to play against the very best right out the game week 1. And that's a risk that a lot of teams don't make. When you come into the bracket, you could choose to join a team that's seated lower but has a harder time making it through the brackets early on. And they chose the hard path, and they've done a great job going through everybody in their wake. And it's just been, for everyone who's playing against them, it's been a nightmare. So we're going to get ready for the next series here, guys. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be Misfits versus Necrolyte. This is going to be a close-seeded team, neck to neck, and we really expect this one to go to the distance as well. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here live at the VIS desk getting ready for our second series tonight, and you guys are tuning into the Challenger Series as we go through. It's the final week of group stages here in Group A, and we already came off an incredible matchup. Unbelievable upset, 32-second team beating a 9th-seeded team as Tribe Academy drops. and Team Hazard moves on. But let's get into our next matchup, Denominate. And this one, I'm actually really excited for. Necrolyte is going into 4-seed Misfits. This one is, I'm telling you, this could be really our closest matchup of the night, based on just how we've seen these two teams play. Both very good. They have a little bit of weakness in certain spots, but overall, they've all both these rosters have gotten deeper. And then, of course, Necrolyte, they have the infamous Lightning T going up against Misfits, which, again, a roster on Misfits, they've been playing competitively for a while now, so they really have synergy on their side as well.
Yeah, they definitely do. And we did touch base on this matchup a little bit at the beginning of the stream. We were talking about how this is going to be one of the more exciting matchups. Necrolyte, obviously, with Lightning T and Stand and Solo, been playing together for quite some time. They were also playing with FPG before, and none of them were captain mains. So now that they have Riesco on the team, they've really stepped their game up quite a bit. So it is the number 4 versus the number 5 seed, but I think as far as the actual mechanical skill for most of these players, it's very similar as well. I think my player to watch, can I give it to 2? Can I say Riesco and Ali Peterson?
Well, Riesco's not playing tonight, so...
No!
Yeah, I would give it to him, so I think you're just going to be stuck giving it to Ali Peterson here.
All right, well, we'll do Ali Peterson then, and I'm a little upset we don't get to see Mr. Riesco. Fantastic player, very exciting to watch. But yeah, Ali Peterson, going to be the player to watch. Touched on it earlier. Very mechanically skilled captain, as well as very good decision-making in team fights. Specifically, her Catherine has been very intimidating. Most captains we see echo that blast trimmer every single time. She's very good at executing a little bit of a mix-up when needed be, echoing that merciless pursuit at times as well. So just very good discipline. It is the Rhyme coming off first, banned away by the side of Misfits.
It is indeed. We haven't seen it. Ryan Blackfeather, no surprise. This is actually exactly like we saw last game. These are the two bands coming into Challengers this week that I think we expect to see for most of these games. And already going to be the first pickup. Kestrel coming off quick for Lightning T. Ooh, Lightning T on Kestrel. That's going to be scary. Misfits need to definitely be careful about working around Kestrel there. Lyra is going to be coming out here to kind of, I think, definitely a way to keep Kestrel alive. And honestly, Denominator, you think Lyra possibly to deal with a potential alpha coming out here from Misfits?
Yeah, there definitely could be an alpha pickup here. I actually think it would be smart. The alpha and the Arden are incredibly devastating together, but it looks like we might have a Vox coming out for Jazz. Oh, nope, here comes a Fortress, which will probably be going over to Crowley in the jungle. So I'm interested to see what they end up going with for the lane. It is looking like it's going to be the Vox. Now, I do like the Fortress because of the, I guess you could call it AoE, Mortal Wound with the Attack of the Pack. Not necessarily AoE, but obviously the Wolves chase you down. Each of them do apply a Mortal Wound, so that can reduce a lot of the healing that Junie is going to be able to provide. It is a Scarf, however, that comes out for Necrolyte going on to stand in solo, and we will have Junie as the captain. So, again, it is a little bit concerning to me that they don't have their actual main captain with them. So I want to give the edge here early on over to the side of Misfits.
Yeah, but never doubt the Lightning T. This guy is incredible. We'll just have to see ultimately how the game transpires, but he's really been just kind of the keystone of this roster for Necrolyte. Of course, it was NRG formerly, and back and forth a couple times, but I really do put a lot of trust in this kid. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. Necrolyte, of course, in the fold, and so will we as we jump into it. I'm going to kick it off to our casters, Denominate and Sean Astino.
All right, Sean, Mr. New Father of Luke Vox. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well, Denominate. Ready for this Misfits versus Necrolyte fight here, and it's going to be good. I'm excited. You guys were talking about Fortress a little bit, and Fortress is actually becoming pretty popular here in 2.9.1. Some of the things that I'm seeing with Fortress is that there's that CP ratio with the bleed as well on those mortal wounds, which is pretty interesting. It increases the bleed per second. So they get some, and they also get some lifesteal on those attacks from the Truth of the Tooth. So it's very interesting. the kit that Fortress has upon analysis. And Arden, of course, he's going to have to protect these two carries, especially Vox. We know Vox is a lot squishier. He needs to zoom in and out of the fights. And there's an engage.
Oh, Lightning T getting taken very low, but he's going to make it out alive. Junie going to go ahead and use an Imperial Sigil, help out. Very important to make note here is that Lightning T did save his flask off the back of that, though, Sean.
Yeah, that's great that he did save his flask, and it's a really good reposition from him, even before he got his level 2. He just reached it right now, so he could active camo out and be able to save himself from potential attacks. I'm interested to see Junie actually picking up this protector contract here. We've been seeing a lot of captains actually pick this up recently, and with sustain, fortified health, barriers, it's been the name of the game here in 2.9.1, and providing that little bit extra of shielding, especially when it's only a little bit of shielding. I believe it's 180 or 200, something like that, but you can get it off pretty frequently. It does have to charge up, I think. It's probably about a 20-second charge, but you have 2 charges with it, so you can really provide a lot of protection. Of course, Lyra, she's got a lot of heal with that Imperial Sigil, and I'm interested to see if Junie's going to be going towards a Fountain of Renewal or a Crucible. And in this case, I think a Fountain of Renewal would be okay, but a Crucible would be just as fine.
I kind of think we should lean towards that renewal just because we talked about that Mortal Wound. Obviously, it won't be the AoE team-wide Mortal Wound quite yet, but Crowley still does have that in his kit, as well as Jazzville working towards that Poison Shiv. So I feel like the extra heal on top of the Imperial Sigil going to be a little bit more beneficial than just that Imperial Sigil if you go the Crucible route first. So, we touched on the Protector's contract, that 120 barrier every 15 seconds per charge. But looking over the opposition, Crowley on this Jungle Fortress did pick up the Dragon's Blood contract as well. So that's going to provide him some additional burst here in the early game. And that is a 2-second slow in the early game, 30%, as well as 100 bonus damage as well. That also has 2 charges with 25 seconds per charge. So very interesting pickups here from a couple of the players, but it does look like we're getting that Fountain of Renewal first out of Junie.
Yeah, he is going to be building towards that. It looks like we've got the kinetic shield there. We've got the life spring as well. And that is interesting. That it's a fascinating thing to see 2 contracts on one team, but it does work pretty well. The Dragon's Blood contract synergizing with the kit that Fortress has, because there's a lot of dive coming out of this composition. Standing solo caught opposition.
Yeah, he is. He's taken a lot of damage. Will he make it out alive? There's the Imperial Sigil, and now it's Misfits in a terrible spot as Lightning T comes through with a big first blood onto Ali Peterson. Went out a little bit too far trying to find that kill, and Necrolyte's going to be very happy with that one. And, we're touching on the 2 contracts on one team a little bit. I think it's smart, realistically. You're mentioning that it works well with Fortress's kit, and I very much agree. Fortress does not have the strongest early game, so getting that additional burst makes so much sense to me, Sean.
Oh, it totally does. And not only is he going to have that dive, but then he also has Ali Peterson there. It's too bad that Ali Peterson fell in that last fight, but if she was there, she could have provided some Vanguard, more protection, and that's what we want to see. We want to see Vanguards in if they want to dive, Vanguards out if they want to disengage from fights. And we do see the Fountain of Renewal picked up for Ali Peterson, as well as, Standing Solo's getting hit.
Standing Solo, wrong place, wrong time. Misfits answer back. They weren't able to find it last time around. They find it this time for sure. And now they might even rotate up, look for Lightning T, but he forces the wave up, gets himself out, going to take the opportunity to shop as well. Already building into that monocle, so going to be going for that raw burst damage coming out of those glimmer shots. Whereas Jazzville, he does have the Poison Shift complete now, so that's an additional mortal wound that Necrolyte has to be worried about. And it does look like he's going into the Sorrow Blade for his second item, likely Breaking Point for the third. So he's not going to have the same upfront damage as the Kestrel, and that is a little bit concerning to me. He will scale up in the fight where Kestrel won't. But if you get poked out early, and it's not really the tankiest front line on this Fortress, the Fortress goes in and takes a couple of glimmer shots, it's going to force them out of the fight very early. So how are you feeling about the build path so far? And what do you expect to see, out of this fortress now that the Aftershock's complete?
Well, now that we have the Aftershock complete, he does have a Stormguard banner. He could potentially be building towards a Storm Crown. I don't think I much like that. It does not work that well here in 2.9.1. I know we've been talking about that a lot in the VG8, but looks like this turret's getting sieged up. And standing solo, he's got himself Eve of Harvest there, so he's going to have himself some better sustain.
Yeah, he is. It's at kind of a loss of damage, though. We typically see the Crystal Mages go with the Eve of Harvest first when they're in the lane for that additional energy regeneration and the energy or health sustain as well. That first turret gets obliterated, and now it's necrolyte looking to push more. Attack of the Pack is out, though. Fountain is used by Allie Peterson. That will be down. Junie still has his. The Imperial Sigil is coming back up now. There goes a Flask. There goes a Fountain. There's an Imperial Sigil. It's not enough. Junie gets dropped, and Misfits finds a beautiful kill there. They're looking for some damage on Lightning T. They're not going to get it. And now it might even be Misfits looking to push this turret up. And Standing Solo is going to stay here in the lane and try to hold this one off. Ooh, Spitfire misses, though, so no goop going to be ignited yet. Here it goes. Crowley is in. Standing Solo pops the Flask. Is it enough? He's going to make it out alive. And now Misfits way overextended. I'm actually surprised Lightning T didn't go in a little bit harder there. They do find Allie Peterson. Here's the Arcane Passage. Lightning T clears out some farm as Standing Solo chases. They're not going to be able to find another kill, but they might find a gold mine off the back of that one.
Oh, the overextensions are just killing me here, Denominate. We're seeing necrolyte able to really capitalize on a lot of the mistakes that are happening coming out of Misfits. If you look at the gold right now, we do see necrolyte with a 2,000 gold lead at the moment, and they're going to extend it even further by taking this gold miner here. They may even pick up the fronts if they wanted to of the jungle on the side of Misfits, and it's very interesting here. We just have a lot of back and forth here with the kills, but the gold lead is continuing to grow. We do see Junie also with a War Treads that he has picked up, so that's going to allow for some pretty good engage, disengage potential, and also the base health has gone up. We're going to be able to see some more base healing coming out, and it looks like it's an engage.
Yeah, there is, and it's a rough one as the gauntlet comes down and stuns up Standing Solo. He turns around with the Dragon's Breath now, and it's Misfits on the run. Allie Peterson dropped low again. They turn the attention around so quickly, though. They find Lightning T. Arcane Passage is going to be used to get Junie out. Standing Solo, though, he's not going to get his life spared, and Jazzville makes it out on a sliver. Cleaning out this wave, he'll be able to heal up a little bit off the minions thanks to the Poison Shiv, but they will get that first turret. That's going to give them a little bit of gold back in their pockets. It's not quite a huge deficit anymore. There's not a half rotation up, though, on the side of Necrolyte's jungle. So Crowley might just have to back off. He is, as now it is Necrolyte returning to the fold. And Sean, 1-to-1 turret, but the gold lead's still in favor of the side of Necrolyte, despite being down 2 kills.
Despite being down 2, yeah. Allie Peterson just picked up War Treads. So that's going to be matching that engage and disengage potential. But we do want to have Misfits actually engaging more. Their composition feels more like a dive composition to me. They want to get in there, and the War Treads is really going to facilitate that. We've been seeing Allie Peterson drop a little bit more than the rest of the team. Actually, he's the only one who's died twice. So getting the War Treads makes sense too. But I would like to see some armor prioritized as well. He does have that light armor sitting there in his inventory. So she's going to be able to probably pick up, I would probably say maybe a metal jacket to avoid a lot of the damage that's coming out of Lightning T. We do see a spell sword, actually. We don't see this very often, picked up on this Vox. So that's going to be, that's an interesting pickup.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's not something we see too often. Gauntlet's going to come down, stun up Junie. Arcane Passage will get him out. But Misfits looking for a little bit more chase here. The Attack of the Pack is out. They're finding a lot of damage onto Lightning T. Standing Solo winds up the Dragon's Breath, and they're finding a lot of return damage onto Misfits. And just like that, This fight has been back and forth, turned around, and now it's standing solo again, dropped very, very low. Lightning T as well. No energy for an active camo right now either. He's getting close to having it back, but is going to have to be careful. He is recalling now to get a shop down and top himself off. That was a crazy fight for the fact that nobody died, Sean.
Yeah, crazy fight. They didn't even really get that any damage on that turret at all. Standing solo has a broken myth as well. So interesting interaction with Scarf right now. So we have the broken myth, which gives that 30% shield pierce, right? Shield breaker. And in addition to that, Scarf has actually gotten a buff in 2.9.1 to have more pierce with his Dragon's Breath, actually. So that's just, we've seen him use Dragon's Breath pretty frequently during this game so far. We're 11 minutes 45 seconds in, and I'm interested to see how much further the interaction is going to be. I want him to pick up more CP items to be able to give himself higher CP damage, but he's going to have to sell off that healing flask first.
Yeah, like you were mentioning that the Pierce, stacking with his ultimate, going to put him up at 75% shield breaker during that channel time. And it is very, very impactful to the fights. But with the way that Misfits have been disengaging, it's, oh man, Crowley gets the recall off there just by a hair on his tail. Necrolyte finds some damage on the turret, but here comes the gauntlet. It will be reflex blocked by Lightning T. But Junie will get stunned up. Bright Bulwark is now down. Here comes the attack of the pack. Lightning T, very forward in this fight, is going to find a kill onto Jazzville. And now Allie Peterson is running from the Scarf, but Crowley getting a lot of return damage down as well. Imperial Sigil's down. That's going to help heal Standing Solo up. But he's so low on energy. Will he be able to find the kill? There's the Vanguard. It's so close. He gets one. He gets two. They find an ace. They're going to find a turret off that one as well with this huge minion wave here. And, it's going to be Jazzville having to stick around a little bit, trying to clean up the minions here. They might even look to find another gold mine off that one, as Lightning T actually is rotating through the backs right now. So he's not going to regroup with the team, which makes it a little bit risky to take. Instead, Standing Solo looking aggressive here, finds Jazzville in the jungle, but is going to get poked out a little bit here. And they will secure that camp, though, so will be a little additional healing for Standing Solo. They start up the gold mine. Ooh, it drags off the goop. That's going to lower their damage on it. And here comes Misfits. This could be a steal. Wait for it, is out. It will be Lightning T that secures it, though. And Attack of the Pack, unfortunately, gets wasted.
Yeah, it does get wasted. They're going to go ahead and disengage. We do see a Bonesaw being picked up by Lightning T. Bonesaw has been really prioritized by a lot of weapon power carries here in 2.9.1, and it's been a pretty good item. With everybody's shield and armor actually lowered, it's able to cut through that a lot better, and it's able to stack up to actually 40% maximum armor breaker. That's pretty good numbers if you're having a lot of armor come out on the other side. Sentry was just defeated in the Misfit jungle, so that's got 2 lives remaining now. And we do have a lot of the armor actually coming out. Allie Peterson has a metal jacket. We have a metal jacket on Jazzville as well. Infusions picked up by Lightning T and Standing Solo. They want to fight right now. Crowley, he's burning out his level 11 infusion at the moment. And Jazzville, he's got quite a bit of time on his remaining.
Yeah, I'm kind of wary on this Vox build right now. So typically with the 3-item Vox, you're very about sustaining in a fight. You're very about ramping up that damage on a single target. I'm a little concerned with the spell sword itself. I don't think the weapon Vox necessarily needs that much cooldown. It is nice to have your sonic zoom up a little bit more frequently. But as far as overall effect, I feel like the Vox is just lacking that hyper carry potential, and that's what I'm a little bit worried here. I mean, what does Misfits have to do here to find more convincing fights? We've seen a lot of 1-for-1 and 2-for-2 trades, but nobody's really been able to convincingly win a fight for a while. And one shot, one kill, gonna clip Crowley. Here comes Allie Peterson coming in. A great Bright Bulwark and a stop Fortress. Here comes the Gauntlet. It will stun up Junie. Lightning T going to use that active camo to get out. Jazzville burning down. And just like that, Necrolyte, they might have been the ones to find the fight. It is Crowley jumping back in for a second, quickly getting himself back out. thanks to the Packmates perk there, being around Ali Peterson, giving him that speed boost. And now it's necrolyte starting up this Kraken here. Standing solo, Lightning T are over here. Junie, getting some vision down since he doesn't have any in inventory. But now they're just going to turn their attention, take down that Kraken. And we were talking about it. These fights, again, nobody has been able to completely win a fight. It's been a lot of 1-for-1 trades or a kill here and there. But aside from the one ace that we saw come out of necrolyte, this has been a very even game.
It has been even. If you look at the score right now, 5-6 right now in favor of necrolyte, but they have a huge gold advantage right now. Journey Boots, Aegis picked up for Lightning T and one of his other team members, respectively. But Jazzville, with this spell sword, he needs to sell that thing, get himself a breaking point so he can really ramp up his weapon power damage. This Kraken coming up to the choke point right now, and we have got to see necrolyte play this very carefully. There's a lot of burn damage coming out from that burning goop. 500-something damage. Oh, they're going in.
They're going in, but they're not able to find anything. Now with this Kraken at 2/3 of its health, marching into this turret, Lightning T obliterates it. He is going to go ahead and use the active camo. He's going to find some damage on the turret. Is it going to be enough? The Kraken is still half health, a little bit under, and now it is the whole side of necrolyte here trying to wail on this vein crystal. Standing solo stayed alive for a long time there, and just like that, necrolyte pushes in for the victory, taking a 1-0 lead in this game, or series.
Wow, check this out, Denominate. If you believe it or not, more of the kills, actually, a larger pool of kills, went over to Junie on the captain role. We see him with 3 kills, 2 kills for Lightning T, 1 kill for standing solo. This was a really crazy game in that it was pretty much a battle of the captains who was able to facilitate better in the team. Jazzville picking up this spell sword on Vox. I can understand that he maybe wants cooldown on his Sonic Zoom to be able to zoom around the fight better, reposition himself, dive potential, but just picking that up wasn't allowing him, just like you mentioned, to be that hyper carry that we really needed. And I feel like if he just got himself a breaking point, he would have been able to dish out the damage if he survived longer in these team fights.
Yeah, but, it is necrolyte that comes out in the end. Maybe a little bit of question in the builds, but to help us get into that a little bit more, as well as prepare us for game number 2, we're going to be jumping over to the desk with Dragonborn, and man, necrolyte came out strong there at the end.
Well, Lightning T on Kestrel, that is usually a good success for that team, for that player specifically. He's mechanically skilled, and a lot of these players at the top, they just love the damage they can lay out with Kestrel. But you highlighted on it too, is the Vox build was really interesting, and dancing around didn't seem like a priority. I mean, I understand that you've got Spitfires, you've got a lot of poke. It just seemed like from a crowd control point of view, there wasn't a lot that Jazzville needed to dance around. So really kind of surprised, honestly, that he ended up feeling cooldown was something he needed there. I think damage was really what he wanted. I would have loved to have seen maybe a tension bow just to help burst through Scarf early, take him out of the fight, because once you let Scarf rack up that damage, blowing in with a Dragon Breath for that matter is just absolutely a mess. We're going to be getting into game number 2, of course, here in just a few seconds, as we just switch everybody around. But to nominate a few thoughts that you had, and I do want to highlight, from what I could see, it was a close game. We said it would be close, but it was only close when it came to the team fights. Unfortunately, necrolyte just seemed to win most of them, even though they were like really back and forth. What does Misfits have to do now? Because they got one more shot before they get knocked down to the elimination round to try to win and keep their hopes alive in the winners bracket. We know how important staying in the winners bracket is to make it to the finals. Staying in the winners bracket, you've got such a high probability of making it to challenge battles when you can stay in it and going into the playoffs. So what do Misfits need to do here to get this victory?
Well, I think Misfits is a very good team. They're obviously very accomplished, but they're up against a very challenging opponent right now. So looking into the next game, I think they need to be a little bit more cautious on the picks. Now, obviously, Jungle Scarf isn't something that we've seen in a while. That's not something that you can really, expect. But if you're going to allow a Kestrel to go over to Lightning T, you need to have something that can counter that damage. And unfortunately, with the build path on Vox and then just the Fortress wasn't quite able to make the engages he wanted to, thanks to some really good bright bulwarks. It made it very difficult for them to kill Lightning T fast enough. They were very often able to kill him, but not before he put out so much damage that after that kill, they were forced to leave. Otherwise, it was going to be standing solo, taking the rest of the fight. And, there it is. Like I said, giving Kestra over to Lightning T, you got to set something up that's going to counter it. Instead, they just take it away.
Well, that's interesting because it's necrolyte that takes the Kestrel away. So it looks like they have a game plan for it.
They switched. That's right.
They switched. So
Halloween.
Interesting. You're gonna have the rhyme, but what that means is they get the black feather pick. So honestly, that was more of a ploy to say, hey, we don't want to go up against Kestrel if we play black feather. So with it, they're gonna pick it in this case, and I think that that's a really powerful pick. But what we've seen though is as powerful as black feather is, you can draft into it, you can counter it. If you put all your pieces in. Arden makes a lot of sense here because it's a great way to try to split the fight up and keep, either isolate Blackfeather a little bit. He can kind of use his Rose offensive to get in and out, but as we get to late game, we know Arden's double gauntlet with the Echo has the ability to just absolutely like keep Blackfeather somewhat isolated or trapped inside an engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the Rona pick coming out of Misfits here. Rona is one of the few heroes that can really go into a duel with a Blackfeather and come out on top in most situations. However, standing solo, picking up the Sky here, I think this is very good into Rona as well. I pray that we see a Frostburn out of him, though. We've seen a couple of the Skies, not pick up that Frostburn, and it allows the melee heroes that have those gap closers to stick onto you so much easier by not going that route. So I would like to see Standing Solo pick up a Frostburn this game just to provide himself some additional distance from the enemies. And it is now Misfits locking in the Kroll last. And Kroll, Arden, Rona, very aggressive dive composition. They are both very good at dealing with Blackfeather as well. I do like Misfits comp that they've put together here. So this is going to come down almost 100%. It is going to be Lightning T on the Sky. I hope that it's a Crystal Sky in the lane, because aside from sheer outplays, I think that's their only real hope of winning here.
Well, we have never been able to doubt Lightning T Sky. He's played incredibly well in Sky, but he has played the Crystal Sky, so more recently at least. So we'll just have to wait and see if that is going to be what he's going to be pulling out here. I do love Misfits draft. The Lyra early on can be really problematic. What I'm really surprised, Day, is we never see the Echo to double Bulwark or to double Sigil on the Lyra as much, and I really think that's a missed opportunity for a lot of these teams. But hey, we're getting into it. Enough of my opinions. Let's jump into the fold as I kick it off to the nominee and Sean Ostino to take us away.
All right, Sean. Game number 2 here, Necrolyte, Misfits. The winner of this game stays in the winner's bracket and will face off against Team Hazard, I think in the next week. But anyway, so obviously very important for the teams to win here. This is the higher seed of the teams remaining. So it is now Lightning T standing solo, rotating down here in the jungle. And with the Weapon Blade here on the Blackfeather already, I'm thinking it is going to be the Crystal Sky in the lane, and Lightning T has just picked up the Weapon Blade on his own for that clear in the lane, because Crystal Sky in the first couple levels does struggle with her clear.
Yeah, she does. And you mentioned earlier during the draft that she should pick up the Frostburn. Yeah, I would like to see that here too. If she's able to kite out Cruelly, slow him down, then and the same thing with this Rona, that's going to be really good. And repositioning it as the Sky is going to be very important for Lightning T.
Yeah, and huge fights breaking out. Junie gets dropped very early on. Standing solo as well, dropping very low. Crowley, will you make it out alive? Lightning T is looking aggressive, but I think it might have been the wrong play, as he is now in the wrong side of a bad situation. It's not an ace, but it is 3 kills to start off the game early for the side of Misfits.
The Dead Man's Rush, the Vanguard from Ali Peterson, that's what allowed Cruelly to survive so well there in that engagement. And we just saw that Lightning T was kiting back with the forward barrage, but it wasn't doing much of an impact. It wasn't able to get that little bit of life down to 0. And that's what is going to allow Misfits to be able to continually win these fights. Keep those barriers up. We know that barriers are so important here for the sustain in 2.9.1. And if they keep doing that, Misfits is really going to be able to engage here with this double weapon comp.
Yeah, definitely looking to do so. It's going to be, again, about getting this Crystal Sky to the late game, getting this Crystal Sky to a point that she can kite out these fights efficiently. Allie Peterson getting a lot of damage down here onto Junie, but obviously with the Imperial Sigil, he's going to be able to heal himself up. And a good barrier coming down onto Jazzville is going to prevent that damage coming out of Necrolyte there. And obviously with the Book of Eulogies as well, will heal up that additional health for every minion they kill. They've actually used a minion candy to keep the wave forced as long as they can, but so did Necrolyte, obviously, there. So going to even out, and they will just continue to farm up both junglers on their own respective sides of the jungle. We see the Piercing Spear very early on Crowley here. Do you think this is going to be that Tension Bow bursty assassin Krull that we saw, back in like the 2.7, maybe early of 2.8?
It could very well be this tension bow cruel. I wouldn't mind seeing it here, especially early game. And he could very well, if he wanted to, sell it off later game and pick up a bone saw, because we do have them as a double weapon composition. It's going to be very important for the side of Necrolyte to be able to itemize against that and pick up a lot of armor. We need to see metal jackets on both sides, or even Atlas pauldrons as well, to slow down the attack speed. But in order to counter that, if we have Crowley or Jazzville pick up Bonesaw, or both of them, then they're going to be able to really probably find some success here versus Necrolyte.
Yeah, they definitely could be looking to find some. Lightning T, however, in the lane on this Sky. The fortunate thing for the Sky, it's kind of hard for her to ramp up right now, but in the lane, there's a lot of gold, which helps her get to those offensive items being online, as well as getting some ambient gold here with Stan and Solo. So I think this is their best chance at winning. I'm very worried about the Blackfeather into the Krull and into the Arden and into the Rona, who are all three heroes that Blackfeather traditionally is not very good into. So, I really like that Misfits has put together this draft. And, it's going to be very interesting to see how this one comes out. Lightning T now level 6. That Death from Above is available.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that because they picked up the Blackfeather very quickly, they were able to draft against it. But there's a fight going on here in the bush.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a skirmish there, but nothing too heavy going to go on. Very important to make note, though. Crowley has come up to the lane. He is level 6. He has this From Hell's Heart ready to go, and could potentially find a gank here in the next couple minutes. Lightning T is rotating down, very likely going to get that Frost Spur. Oh, Dragon's Eye first. And, so he's going to ramp up in these fights, but it is going to be, not giving him any additional peel for himself. So Crowley now has gone that Tension Bow, going to have a lot of burst onto any of the heroes onto the side of Necrolyte.
Yeah, it's interesting that he did not take your advice, Denominate, but you do get a lot of value out of the Dragon's Eye, because it does, if you actually calculate the gold to CP ratio, it's about 20 gold for like a Shatter Glass, for example, which gives you the most flat CP you can get, versus a Dragon's Eye. Oh, there's an engage.
Oh, great block out of Junie. Will save Lightning T's life, but he did surrender his own. We see that forward barrage doing so much damage to Jazzville there. I don't think Misfits can find anything else off of this. Stan and Solo going to make it out alive, and now they're just looking to clear out this lane. But that is going to be one more kill going over to Misfits, leading 4-0 at this point. And yeah, the Dragon's Eye is a lot of damage. I can see it forcing enemies out, but I'm just worried about them getting onto Lightning T. Yes, he has that Surrey Strike, but there's a lot of gap closers on the side of Misfits that they can save. For example, Rona can come and jump in with the Foe Splitter, and then once he Surrey Strikes away, can use the Into the Fray. Krull can obviously sit in a bush, get that movement speed burst, and save his Dead Man's Rush, and then obviously follow up on the Surrey Strike as well. So that's kind of why I'd like to see that additional peel. It'll be interesting to see if he does go that route. The last time we saw him play Crystal Sky, he did not. And, it's going to be about the execution if that's the case. Crowley is coming in. He does get snared up a little bit by that Bright Bulwark, but overall, nobody going to lose their life. as Misfits now go ahead and head back. Crowley is sticking around here up in the lane, could be looking for something, but he's very hurt and has to be careful. The Protector contract was popped there, but, again, both teams playing this one pretty cautiously right now. Here we go. Gauntlet is out. Jazzville is in. They're taking a lot of damage. Lightning T, Surrey striking around the fight, but Stan Solo and Junie are the ones dropped incredibly low there. Healing Flask coming out of Allie Peterson, going to keep her healthy enough for the fight. Jazzville will have his up here in about 20 seconds, but Misfits looking pretty healthy here. And the Imperial Sigil coming out of Junie is going to get them healed up a bit. But important to make note, he did go the Crucible first, so no Fountain available yet. And he's now going to drop. Very good execution there coming out of Jazzville and Allie Peterson, able to get the 5th kill on the board already for the side of Misfits.
Yeah, 5th kill, and they are about 1,000 gold in the lead, which is not too big of a lead. It's actually dropping lower than that, but they're going to increase that lead pretty soon, taking this gold miner. 8 minutes in, 0 and 5 right now for Misfits in kills. And things are looking pretty good for them. We do see Standing Solo actually picking up a breaking point, and so does Jazzville picking up a breaking point as well. Allie Peterson just got an echo. We have so many items bought up across the board. We do see an Eve of Harvest picked up by Lightning T as well. That's going to allow for some really good energy and life sustain here on him during these team fights. He's going to be able to just ramp up those Dragon's Eye stacks. He's going to, if he's able to survive well and keep kiting around, he's going to keep doing damage. He's going to keep sustaining, and that's what we need to see out of Lightning T.
Yeah, definitely do. He has the Eve of Harvest. That's obviously going to help him with his sustain. Stan Solo, however, has gone at the breaking point first, and I feel like he's been forced out of these fights very early, so it's making it very difficult for him to build those stacks up. He is also committing to armor pretty early here. I would expect to see an Atlas come out. Here comes the Gauntlet. Jazzville is into the fray, and now it is Lightning T trying to dance around again, but it's just too much. Crowley and Jazzville able to stick onto him like glue, and Stan Solo now going to try to make it out here. Imperial Sigil is going to keep him topped off, and it's actually Misfits that are pretty low at this point. Stan Solo looking to come in. The Faint of Heart is not going to do it. Have you gone too far? Atlas Pauldron is now down, and that's a Spectral Smite coming out of Crowley there. And that's going to be a 7th kill now going over to Misfits, as well as Jazzville turning his attention onto this turret. And Rona able to take this down pretty quickly here. Will he get it down safely, though? Out of the fray, going to help him get out. Here comes Lightning T with the Surrey strike. However, he does not have the forward barrage. Now he does, and he finds the kill. And it is now Lightning T with the first kill for Necrolyte on the board. Jazzville was 3 and 4, so that's going to be a small bounty going back over to them. But now Lightning T has to be very cautious. The From Hell's Heart is coming up. Crowley's already onto him. Surrey Strike comes out. The From Hell's Heart's going to come out in just a second, I would assume. Here it goes. And now Allie Peterson and Crowley on. Spectral Smite's going to come out and take Lightning T down. And there's nothing that Standing Solo can do at this point. He's just going to have to pretty much let Crowley and Allie Peterson do whatever they want.
I think they are doing exactly what they have needed to do. Misfits has just been shutting down Sky so much. And after you shut down Sky, the rest of Necrolyte falls. In that before this previous team fight, when the Gauntlet came down in the other fight, we actually saw there was a good block. The Crucible was used by Junie, but Lightning T wasn't able to capitalize on receiving the block, getting out of the Gauntlet. If these gauntlets come down, we do have an echo on Allie Peterson, by the way, and if she throws down the gauntlet, if everybody stays in the gauntlet, then that's only going to be a gain for Jazzville and Crowley and Allie Peterson, because they're just going to keep bursting down everybody on Necrolyte. They only want to be in these fights. Crowley wants to be in your face. Jazzville wants to use the red mist and get in your face, build up that fortified health, and just keep doing damage with this. The lifesteal vampirism on the Serpent's Mask and the breaking point. It's just going to stack up. It's going to be chaos here if these gauntlets come down.
Yeah, and the Poison Shiv coming out of Curl at this point as well is going to give them a little bit of additional use into Junie, obviously able to shut down some of that healing. Misfits, however, has started up now this gold mine. Stan Solo and Junie are here. They're not quite able to get the steal. Will they pursue a chase here? Misfits are going to jump on out of that one, and it is now Lightning T caught in a rough spot. Surrey Strike back over the turret. At least he gets the first turret. That's a burst to 600 gold for his team, but I think he's pretty much dead to rights. Surrey Strike comes out, not quite going to be enough as another kill is racked up on the board for Misfits. But, Lightning T took advantage of a good opportunity there. He saw the enemies were down there on the gold mine, and Ali Peterson was trying to contest out standing solo. He did give up his life, but 1 life for that first turret is worth it by all means.
Oh, man, it feels kind of good if you're Lightning T to take that thing out by yourself. But I feel like that's not going to necessarily happen again. They're not going to. Misfits is just going to keep pushing here. There's the gauntlet coming down.
Yeah, Gauntlet is down from Hell's Heart. Is going to get blocked out, standing solo with a good Rose offensive there. And that does make him invulnerable to those stuns for the duration of the ability. Now, Lightning T looking to keep his Dragon's Eye stacks up. Not quite going to be able to find it there. And he does have the Broken Myth now complete. And it is a Arcane Passage, which is going to help necrolyte get out of that gauntlet. It was actually a beautiful gauntlet coming out of Ali Peterson, but it was an even better Arcane Passage. Now this fight's breaking out. Jazzville is so hurt, but so are Junie and standing solo. Lightning T does use the Surrey Strike to the other end of the fight. He's finding a lot of damage, but he's finding himself in a bad situation too. Another Surrey Strike is going to come out. They're finding a lot of damage on Crowley. They kill Crowley. They're looking for Ali Peterson now, and it's Jazzville on the run. Necrolyte, for the first time in this game, have found themselves a clean fight, and maybe looking for the second turret now. This is starting to get to be a very intense game.
What made that last team fight so good? Oh, Jazzville's going in again.
Yeah, Jazzville, maybe not the decision you wanted to make. Giving over the ace with 1 second left, Crowley would have been up. Not only he gives away his life, he gives away an ace, he gives away the turret. And now, with the staggered death timer, there's nothing that Misfits can really even come out and do at this point. It's so risky for them to come out a little bit too far as they're waiting on Jazzville. He'll be up in a second, and they will actually get their jungle. Necrolyte did not take that on the way out. Oh, that was a little bit of a misplay there, I would say, out of Jazzville.
Yeah, I would say so. And with Misfits, they seem to have a bit of a stranglehold on the fold. And just if they had just wised up, I feel they knew that they were they were chasing Lightning T down. They knew that he had his Series Strike up. He Series Strike the opposite way. He pretty much baited them into a situation where they were moved back away from the turret. Oh, there goes the engage.
Yeah, there absolutely does. Lightning T is dropped very low, but a Surrey Strike going to get him out. He's now trapped in this gauntlet, though. No additional blocks. Going to Surrey Strike again, but is it going to be enough? No, the Arcane Passage isn't enough to save him either. And now, again, Blackfeather into this triple melee composition of Misfits. Just nothing that he can do. He's going to get dropped. And this is the worst time that you can lose a fight. 15 minutes has just ticked across. And Misfits are going to get this Kraken now for free, unless if Junie's able to somehow sneak a Miracle Steal. But since they have vision on him right now, it's not likely going to happen, and he doesn't have the damage even to force up the wave enough to take the turret. Kraken is going over to Misfits. Jazzville is recalling, and he is going to be looking to rejoin his team at this point, but he's going to be able to pick up a couple minions here, not even really losing out on anything. So Jazzville in a good spot off the back of that one. And with the Kraken having to get all the way to the second turret, he should be able to make it up here in a reasonable amount of time to help the team start to push. Ali Peterson giving a Vanguard for a little additional movement speed as well. But this Kraken's already being worked on by Necrolyte. It's already down about a third of its health. And it's going to get this first turret for sure, but will it find two?
Yeah, it looks like they're pushing pretty well. It's about half health for this Kraken right now. Man, things are looking pretty rough here for Necrolyte, and off of such a commanding momentum lead that they had coming into this game from their last win. But Misfits is taking what they need. They are backing off. They're going to go ahead and try to clear out the jungle, defeat this Crystal Sentry, get themselves some more gold, deny some of that experience. That Crystal Sentry is actually eliminated. I forgot how few lives it had left. But they're rotating away, and Misfits is actually starting to play pretty smart. 3,000 gold lead, 4-11 in Misfits' favor right now. And we are starting to see a lot of vision prioritized in Naminé. Weapon Infusion picked up by Crowley. Weapon Infusion burning out about halfway for both Ali Peterson and Jazzville. Halcyon Chargers picked up by Lightning T. He wants that cooldown reduction on his abilities so he can just zoom around the fight. Eve of Harvest, we already saw that. Dragon's Eye, but a Broken Myth is actually out on Lightning T as well. He needs to pierce some shield, and we actually only see, we do see Aegis across the board for Cruelly and Jazzville, but we also see Atlas Pauldrons too. So they've got tons of armor, tons of shielding, and I feel like they're just going to be able to effectively deal with Lightning T. As long as they get onto Lightning T, shut him down, then things are going to be looking good for Misfits.
Yeah, and those 3 Atlas Pauldrons definitely going to shut down a lot of damage that Stand and Solo has, and it doesn't have quite the same effect on a Misfits. Yes, it's 2 carries you can get it down onto. Oh, hold on here. Oh, Lightning T narrowly dodging out on that From Hell's Heart. Gonna take the passage out of the gauntlet, but it is Junie now dropping, and Stand and Solo not far behind. This is probably going to be the end of Lightning T as well. Again, just no additional slow for him to try to prevent Cruelly and Jazzville from getting onto him. He's actually looking like he might be able to make it out here. He's getting a lot of damage down on the Cruelly, but now that train is over. He's going to drop, and it is going to be Misfits looking to push up here with the Ace Wave. Ooh, the Ace Wave's actually pretty far back. So that's a little bit unfortunate for them, as Junie and Stan and Solo be out of the respawn here in just a moment. But it is going to be a second or a third turret now for Misfits. Nothing Junie can alone do to prevent this one. And again, Stan and Solo can't even come in here. So that is a pretty big objective advantage now for the side of Misfits with that choke point down.
Look at the score now, Denominate 4-14 right now, with about a 4,500 gold lead for the side of Misfits. War Treads coming out for Cruelly. He wants to be able to dive into those fights, keep engaging. He doesn't want to let Lightning T get away, or anybody else from the side of Necrolyte. I'd like to actually see him drop that weapon blade he's got and grab himself a Shiver Steel. If he wants to be able to close this out a little bit better and a little bit easier, just pop that Shiver Steel while looks like From Hell's Heart's coming in.
Yeah, it is, and another fight's breaking out. A good From Hell's Heart gonna stun up Cruelly, but it's already Junie dropped in the fight. Lightning T gonna Surrey Strike out of that gauntlet. He is safe. He's actually getting a lot of damage onto Jazzville, but again, Lightning T, the only one left for his team, just is not having the effect that he would like on this Skye. It's just Jazzville and Cruelly constantly finding the damage. They're gonna start up another Kraken here, and Misfits looking to push us to a game 3, unless if Lightning T can come down here and make something of it. Jazzville's still very low, but the rest of the team is very healthy. I don't know about this one, Lightning T. Oh, man, this is pretty risky. They're coming onto him. He's actually getting a lot of damage down, and he's getting a lot more with these forward barrages. That Dragon's Eye is stacking up. I don't know if he's going to be able to steal the Kraken, but he can cancel some of these, some of the health benefits here. Oh no, stunned up From Hell's Heart. Lightning T going to Surrey Strike back around, finding damage onto Cruelly, healing up with that Eve of Harvest. He makes it out alive. You got to give him credit for that one, as now Junie here with the Bright Bulwark going to help him out. That was an incredible contest from Lightning T, not able to get the Kraken, but the fact that he made it out alive, at least he didn't throw. It's like they still have a chance at this point to defend, as well as he canceled all of the health buff that the side of Misfits got. You do regain full health when you take that Kraken, but if you take damage from the enemy team, you lose out on that healing, and that was what was so nice about what Lightning T was able to do. If he didn't make it out, it wouldn't have been worth, but the fact that he made it out and was able to prevent Cruelly and Allie Peterson from healing back up to full, that does give them a little bit more of a lifeline here.
It does, and things are looking pretty grim right now. The Kraken is pretty low at the moment, however, and Misfits is egressing from the base. Pretty smart moves, though, for them to just keep pushing what they need to do, keep the momentum up in the game. We do see Journey Boots, War Treads picked up for the side of Necrolyte, and that's going to allow them to engage and disengage into the fights at will. Allie Peterson, to add insult to injury, has actually picked up a Null Wave Gauntlet. So using that on Junie is really going to shut down a lot of the sustain that the side of Necrolyte has. If that comes out in these fights, it's going to be a really big hindrance upon them.
Yeah, Lightning T, he does have a Crucible now as well, so he's going to be able to have that additional block. No point in going the Aegis because there's no crystal damage coming out of the enemy team. It is double weapon power, and that is going to give him more health, so actually more beneficial at this state in the game. Curly is working into a third offensive item as well, and now that Lightning T has the cooldowns, he is able to jump around these fights and keep himself a little bit more safe. Again, it's so rough for standing solo on Blackfeather to try to go into a Krull and a Rona. Here comes the Bright Bulwark from Hell's Heart, not going to get blocked. Standing solo is going to get stunned up, but a good Death from Above going to find a lot of damage. The second Gauntlet is out. Crucible is used. That is going to get Lightning T out. Standing solo taking a lot of damage, though, as well as Junie. That just might be a kill for Misfits. It is, but Lightning T is doing so much damage, and he's so healthy that I don't think Misfits can really safely re-engage here. Crowley's going to try. Fortunately for him, the forward rush was burned. Death from Above going to come out. Jazzville and Allie Peterson very low. Crowley is trying to heal up here. He's taking a lot of damage, though. Oh, my goodness. Lightning T, can you find this fight? Surrey Strike going to find damage on Allie Peterson. Forward barrage going to finish off the Krull. And I think they found Jazzville as well. They don't get the ace, but they find a fight when they need it so desperately. Standing solo, very, very low on health. Lightning T, incredibly low on energy. They cannot take the Kraken, but they hang on for another fight.
I feel like Lightning T has kind of found his footing. If he's able to do that again in the next team fight, they're going to be able to they're just going to be able to push all the way, Denominate. We do see Crowley actually picking up a heavy steel. I'm not sure what he's going to be working towards, but it could be a breaking point, but I hope that he's going to be working towards a bone saw. Unlikely, though, because there's just so much armor that's coming out. Kraken is unleashed and on the leash for Necrolyte. If they're able to push the other way and do a reverse on what's been going on, this is just going to be a massive, massive win for Necrolyte here.
Yeah, we were just talking about it a couple minutes ago. It was 4-14. It's now 6-17. It's still not very close in the kills, but Necrolyte, now that Lightning T is fully online, have been able to find more and more. It is Junie dropping very early on in most of the fights. But if your captain drops and he's, done his healing, then that's a favorable trade, especially with how healthy Lightning T and Stan Solo were at that point in the fight. They're now looking to push into this choke point turret. Lightning T getting himself set up. The From Hell's Heart is not available at this point. It was already used. Lightning T dancing around the fight. He is going to be on the other side of the gauntlet. He's now in the base. Crowley is onto him. Surrey Strike back over the wall. He's going to get out, but Jazzville's onto him now as well. And it's Stan and Solo now dropped. The Surrey Strike going to get a lot of damage down. Allie Peterson's very low. Another Surrey Strike comes out, as well as the Death from Above. They're buying time. That's all they need to do at this point. And Stan and Solo going to have to get out. Lightning T was looking to come in, but he's not going to quite get it. And Crowley's going to find the kill with the Dead Man's Rush and the Tension Bow proc. And they don't
Actually,
actually,
it was Allie Peterson that found the kill with the Vanguard.
Oh, was it? Well, this Kraken now on the last turret, but it's Misfits making a base race here. Can they do it? They don't have a lot of damage. I mean, they do have damage, but, the Rona obviously not able to ramp up that breaking point. It is going to be about if Stan and Solo can just buy time. Here comes the Gauntlet. Crowley and Jazzville are onto the turret. The turret is down, and they have done it. The Kraken is down. Misfits find game number 2. Sean, that was crazy.
What a crazy base race decision-making call coming out of Misfits. Oh my goodness, they just kept the pressure up the game so much, but they had a few mistakes here and there late game. Everybody got to full builds, and making the call, knowing that the Kraken was probably not going to survive, going into the base with 2 people dead, high death timers in that penalty box, Misfits was able to take the game with an impressive shot call. Well done for them.
Yeah, and to help us get into game number 3, Misfits not going down without a fight. We're gonna be jumping over to the desk with Dragonborn for the last time in this series and see how this draft for game number 3 is gonna go. Maybe Dragonborn's not ready for us.
Oh, no, we're ready. We're picking back right now. Sorry about that as we look to get back into this matchup. But, wow, what a series we have. We did say this one would be close, and sure enough, Misfits coming in there really surprisingly well. I mean, granted, they had to go up against the Sky, and I'd be honest, Lightning T Sky was very good as we got into the late game, but it just wasn't enough. Too squishy. The repositioning wasn't able to engage enough damage, I think, on the side. Plus, I honestly think Misfits did a great job dodging around those fort barrages and those from death from aboves. And that's really all they need to do, is they just needed to mitigate that damage as much as they could. So with that, that will mean that we're getting into a game number 3, which it's our first stream game of the night. And so, of course, I'm very excited to be able to get into that with you guys. We might have a substitution, though, happening here, Denominate, as I got to confirm with the teams, but it could be a quick sub in. Let me just confirm. Yeah, it is going to be a substitution with Riesgo is going to be coming back into this match.
Riesgo! Okay, can I give him player to watch now? Is that doable?
I mean, he will be our player to watch. I mean, we obviously will be keeping an eye on him. So that'd
be fun to see them get their starting roster in. That's kind of the key thing to me here is Junie obviously is a sub, and not only is he a sub, he's not a captain main sub, so it does make it a little bit difficult for them to maybe run at their best interest. So it will be a little bit of an opportunity here. We could see a little bit more execution, maybe a little bit more synergy come out of the side of Necrolyte, as I have to imagine that's who they probably normally practice with.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into it, guys, as we jump into the draft. Denominate, of course, off the bat, Misfits banning Kestrel, not letting Lightning T get that. It's going to be a Blackfeather ban. Interestingly enough, Misfits avoid the Rhyme pick here. Go right with the Arden. And this will mean that you've got Alpha, Rhyme, and Cruel available still. These are very tanky heroes. And Necrolyte, they see this as like, oh, we're going to get the Rhyme. And they pick it up right away. And then, of course, Lyra's still available as well. We've seen them really prioritize that, but it looks like instead this time around, going to go with more of an engaged crowd control hero.
Yeah, definitely looking for it. I think that Rhyme is going to be able to really provide a lot in these fights. Allie Peterson on the Arden did have some good plays during that previous game, so we'll have to see what they're able to pull together here. And it looks like a Vox coming out for Misfits as well. Maybe not the most hyper carry. If we see the Spell Sword come out again, I hope not. I hope we do go with that ramping up damage that Vox is so well known for, especially into the amount of sustain that this Rhyme and Lyra combination are going to have together.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, going with the Lyra here, they preferred Lyra all series. The heal and the protection it brings is great, but it's a little bit interesting because, as you can see here with the Vox and a Celeste, this is not the kind of engage comp that you're normally having to go into. So Lyra, some of her kit, not nearly as important. Now, they will be able to get on top of that Celeste, where the Rhyme, that portal is going to be pivotal, as if he can get on top of the back line, he'll be able to do a lot of damage, and they pick a Glaive. Wow. We haven't really seen Glaive played much at all, but I'm a little interested here. So with the I was gonna say I was a little interested on the positions of who's gonna play what here, as Riesgo is gonna be playing the Lyra.
Yeah, Glaive has really fallen off due to the recent patch. He maybe not quite as blessed as many of the other heroes were with the health updates. Obviously, Glaive always had that really high health pool. He's now very comparable in health to, the Kashka, someone who he used to have 500 health more than. He now has like 20 health more than. So not in a great spot, but definitely still viable if played correctly. So I'm excited to see if they're able to make it work. Obviously, that dive will be very useful for getting to that backline. So I can see the potential here.
Oh, just saw this. So I think you and I might be casting this game. I don't think Sean got back into it. I didn't see that happen, so I thought we were good, and I do apologize if that did occur. But let's jump right into it, as the game did kick off the Dadomine. So let's get right into the game. Game number 3 here, this best of 3. It'll be you and Dadomine and myself casting until we get shot back in for the next series.
All right, so he's out of the game, not lagged out of Discord or anything, right?
I think so, yeah, because he does say he's not in the draft lobby. But again, I didn't see him. I didn't remove him, so interestingly. I mean, it looked like he was still there when we started the game.
Oh, interesting. Anyway, well, I don't mind casting with you, Dragon. You're all right.
All right, sorry about that, Sean. All right, so let's get right into it here. As I'll do play-by-play if you don't mind. And Necrolyte and Misfits, they are trying to engage this Elder Treant, looking to go in, and having the Sigil plus Rhyme. Rhyme does so much damage against like minions and creeps that it's really hard to steal away from him.
Yeah, it definitely is. That double proc coming out of the Winter Spire is incredibly useful. It does so much damage to anything that doesn't move out of the way, and obviously minions don't move out of the way, so makes it very easy for Rhyme to come in and do his thing. And overall, pretty slow start. Not seeing any really crazy aggressive engagements coming out of either side yet. I think as Glaive gets closer to a little bit of a damage power spike, we'll definitely see a little bit more engagements coming out of Necrolyte, as they'll be looking to use the early game advantage that they have with this Lyra and the gank potential coming out of Glaive.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely their win condition. That's what they're going to try to do. We see there's a nice punt coming in. Does try to get Jazzville. Jazzville takes a little bit of heat. Down the jungle, Crowley and Ali Peterson now are contesting Rhyme for that Elder Treant. And, of course, 2v1 in that case, Rhyme doesn't walk away with the Treant gold or experience there. It does go over the Misfits. This is a pivotal game. We talked about it before, Dadomine. The implications of dropping into the elimination bracket when you go into playoffs is a lot, because it does mean that it's much harder to make it into the top 3. You have a lot more work. Whereas if you stay in the winner's bracket, your odds of making it to challenge battles greatly increase. So it's a big implication in that way.
Yeah, it definitely is. And obviously both of these teams very capable of, holding that winner's bracket spot as well due to them as well. Both of these teams have had very good performances in the past. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. Misfits is the old Tilt Rehab. They are that number 4 seed coming into this game. And, since they've been together as a team, they've had some pretty substantial performances, I have to say so myself.
Yeah, they really have. As they are able to clear that out here. Jazzville up in the lane is doing pretty good against Glaive here. Keeping it neck and neck. Glaive actually does really well in the lane against like short-ranged heroes like Vox, at least early on, able to clear pretty effectively. But we got an engage breaking out here. Crowley's locked up. There's a nice core collapse to keep him alive. Did he get out though? He's so low. The fight's going back. Lane T's low, but it's Crowley that will drop first. Ali Peterson trying to get in here with these Winter Spires, gets the damage, but he is unable to survive. He's going to be dropping. Jazzville, last man standing for Misfits. As he, again, just going to stay up in the lane here, not trying to go too far in. Nice 2 kills going over the Necrolyte, as well as going to be able to claim some of Misfits' farm. But going into a Rhyme day, we see this all too often. Is Rhyme able to last in these fights and do so much damage?
Ideally, he should be able to. The amount of fortified health that he's going to get in these fights is pretty important to keep your eye on, especially into if he's able to get a good boots proc onto the backline.
Right.
We see a lot of the successful Rhymes, at least, do go with that very early on boots upgrade, just so you have that additional engage.
Afterburn in right there to get the Jazzville kind of put behind in the wrong spot, but Jazzville's able to get away as a core collapse just to reposition. Standing solos walking down it here, trying to maybe find Jazzville. Jazzville just barely recalls before Standing would probably have walked up there. But so far, Necrolyte have done a good job at applying pressure, both in the lane and in jungle day.
Yeah, they have. I'm not sure if you lost me, Dragonborn, or if I lost you, but there's some damage going down onto this turret as Jazzville's trying to hold it off at this point. Standing solo, and Lightning T gonna take it down very early here, though. 5.5 minutes in. Again, Necrolyte needs to be using their early game to try to push, and they are doing so by getting that first turret down. Crowley not quite level 8 yet. That's where Celeste really starts to take off. You get the additional range on your Heliogenesis, and that can make it very difficult for enemy teams to engage. You can poke out their health very early, as well as you can set up kind of a minefield that makes it very difficult for them to get into you without taking that supernova damage.
I think I was trying to see. I think Art did he come back here? We did put a quick pause in. Let me unpause that. Oh yeah, he's back. Okay. Arden was kind of sitting on base still for a little bit, so we were gonna check in to make sure he was okay. But it looks like he is. So no need for a pause here early on in the game. We do see Jazzville does pick up that poison shiv early, and that's obviously when you're having the Vox going into Lyra, a good buy. But with the first turret going over to Necrolyte, they are going to be able to apply a lot of pressure here to Naminé. Well, Misfits now, they need to play on their heels, but they do have a Vox and Celeste. There's a lot of late game potential. How do they deal with the Rhyme with these two heroes?
It's very easy to do once you get Celeste online. Again, as long as you can keep distance between yourself and the Rhyme. If Rhyme upgrades those boots early and he's constantly able to get into your backline, he's going to make very short work of these squishy carries, especially since Celeste will probably go 4 offensive items with the Aegis being the 1 defensive item. That makes it very easy for Lightning T to come in if Celeste gets rooted up and get a heavy amount of burst damage down and possibly take that Celeste out early on in a fight. The Poison Shiv is now complete for Jazzville, so we talked about that into the Lyra, very good item. It does look like he's going into the breaking point for a second item, so maybe no Spell Sword this time around, that or it may be a Spell Sword instead of a Sorrow Blade, but we'll just have to see what he ends up going. But I do like that he's going for that breaking point because these are very likely going to be long, drawn-out fights.
Yeah, they need to be, and of course, when you go into the Rhyme, you know, you need to get the positioning, so it'd be very important. Like, Crowley does not want to get locked up by a glaive there, as you see, afterburns have been really great by Lightning T so far. Crowley actually even took a little bit of that Valkyrie, so a lot of damage. He's going to blow a Solar Storm right down the jungle, hit nobody. And actually, Lightning T does a great job dancing around the damage coming out of Crowley, is able to sidestep, almost finds the kill. But, oh, it's going to be Standing Solo, who's going to go down here as the Eve of Harvest coming online for Crowley. A first pick for Celeste, the one that we actually see quite a bit, Day.
Yeah, we do see that one quite a bit. It's been a very interesting start here. We're 8 minutes in. We do have the first turret taking down, obviously, Necrolyte. We're able to get that one. It does still stand on their side as well. But now that Crowley is level 8, has that Eve of Harvest, as well as very likely going to be working into, I would think, a Shatterglass for a second item. Got 2 crystal bits ready to go. But it's again, if Stand Solo is allowed to get to the back line, or if Lightning T delivers that backline to him, it's going to be very easy for them to lock up that target. Those Winter Spires will be able to land once that root is down, and then we'll be able to get the kills that way. However, if they're not able to get a kill very early on, the Celeste can heal up very easily with the Eve of Harvest. The Vox can obviously ramp up very quickly with that breaking point as well. So they have to execute it correctly if we want to see them come out on top of the late game.
Exactly. And this is going to be, I think, a long fight. I think this game's going to be longer. Granted, a really strong early game for Necrolyte, and I think that's to be expected. When you've got the Glaive and Rhyme and a Lyra, you've got enough sustain early to counter the fact that, otherwise you're going to be a little squishy if you're not doing damage. If you're running away. Rhyme, again, very tanky when he's doing damage, not so much when he's actually running away. Here comes a nice afterburn, goes in. Crowley takes a shot. There's a nice core collapse to just keep Lightning T from going too far in. Crowley, of course, is very vulnerable to the damage coming out from Lightning T, and you can see that because he built a coat of plates to help mitigate that. More worried about that weapon damage. Oh, but he might have got caught out. Core collapse lands, but it's not enough to save him that time, as we're going to see him go down, and Necrolyte finally picking up their first kill of the game.
Necrolyte's up at 3 kills here, Dragonborn.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're right. Sorry about picking up their Necrolyte picking up their 3rd kill. As they, you're right, they're applying the pressure. Whoops, mental error right there. Oh, wow.
They also get the 2nd turret down, and we do have Mr. Sean Ostino back. He was able to reset his app, and it did bring him into the game. So if you want to take a break, Dragonborn, you can.
I do, because as you can see, multitasking is not my strength. But yeah, I'm going to kick it over to you, Sean.
All right, thanks, guys. I am back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, welcome back, Sean. Nice to have you.
Fabulous. It looks like we have a pretty large gold lead right now. It's about 7,000 gold lead in favor of Necrolyte right now. Oh, man, 11 minutes in, 1-3 right now. Things are looking pretty good for Necrolyte this game.
Things are looking really good when your jungler has almost as much CS as the enemy laner. Standing solo sitting here 74 on Rhyme to the 86 that Vox is putting up over here. So Necrolyte in a beautiful spot. They're doing the right thing. They're capitalizing on their early game. Lightning T already has an Aegis built. He's gone a Sorrow Blade, a Tension Bow, and a Poison Shiv, and now a Crystal Sentry getting taken down there as well. They're also doing very good jobs with their objective rotations. And Sean, if Necrolyte keeps this up, they might be the ones going on to the playoffs in the winner's bracket.
I think you're right. And it looks like they're going to be working on the gold mine too to increase their gold lead further. And they're just going to be snowballing this game. Dragon's Eye is actually picked up by Crowley, so that's going to allow him to be able to give some really good ramp-up damage out of his Heliogenesis and Supernovas, as long as he stays in the team fights. He has been the focus, it seems like. Oh, it looks like there's an engage.
Yeah, there definitely is one breaking out. Lightning T is taking a lot of damage, but he's returning a lot as well onto Crowley. Will they find the kill? That is Lightning T securing another kill onto the Celeste. Now Jazzville is on the run, but he's being slowed up by this Rhyme. One more hit will do it. It's another kill for Lightning T. Allie Peterson is on the run, but it's just going to be Riesco chasing that one down as Lightning T and Stan and Solo are looking to try to get some damage down onto this turret. But 2 minions with them and Crowley on the board. That's going to be a little bit risky here. It looks like they might stay to finish it off, but Stan and Solo, around half health, is going to have to be careful. He's actually healing up pretty well here. He did pop that flask, but Lightning T has not given up on the aggression. He's in here onto Jazzville. He has already used the afterburn, so he cannot get that punt back to Stan and Solo. However, Stan and Solo comes in and gets a lot of damage down onto Crowley, and Necrolyte now definitely have to get out of here. Lightning T is very low on health, which Riesco can heal up with an Imperial Sigil, but he's also very low on energy. In fact, barely has enough to use that afterburn. The energy just now ticked over. So he will be taking that Treant there to try to get his energy topped off a little bit, as well as looking to make a shop here. He has 1,900 gold in his pocket. Has gone with the Halcyon Chargers. So that is a long boots activation, 3 seconds. He's already in here onto Crowley, gets a big burst of damage down, but the Vanguard's going to help prevent that. Bright Bulwark is down. Stan and Solo chasing Crowley down now. They turn their attention quickly onto Jazzville. Here comes Lightning T, Core Collapse. Oh my gosh, a great block as the Afterburn comes through. It's now Lightning T onto Crowley. He's going to find a kill. It is Stan and Solo finding one onto Jazzville as well. And now Allie Peterson in the middle of this Necrolyte sandwich, gonna weasel her way around and try to get away from this Rhyme. The root's gonna come through. The Imperial Sigil gonna give Rhyme a burst of movement speed as well. I think Allie Peterson's doing nothing at this point but buying time. Meanwhile, Lightning T pushing this wave up. 3 seconds, they can get the kill. There's an ace. Lightning T is going to secure a turret off of that one and likely just be able to safely get out. Riesco is here with him. Lightning T being very aggressive, though. Stan and Solo's coming. They have an ace wave. They're looking for the turret. They might be just looking for the game here, Sean. This is crazy. The turret is down, and the Vein Crystal is going to drop as well. Necrolyte takes game number 3.
What aggression that we saw here out of Necrolyte, only allowing 1 kill onto their side. And I'm ashamed to say that I missed 11 minutes of this game because this looked like an amazing victory for Necrolyte. Wow. I want to actually remark upon Lightning to 5-0-2 right here. And look at the assists on standing solo. 6 assists, 2-1 for him. He was the only one that died because he wanted to be in there. He wanted to be the focus of the fight, the attention being drawn from Misfits. Riesgo picked up an echo in the last couple of minutes of the fight, of the game, and I feel like that made an impact. He was either able to drop double bulwarks or double Imperial Sigils with that, and that was so important for the sustain and healing coming out of Necrolyte to allow them to win this game.
Yeah, definitely, and that's going to be a win going over to the side of Necrolyte, so they will move on in the winner's bracket. And to help us get ready for the last series of the night, we'll be heading over to Dragonborn once again, and he'll let you know what that matchup is going to be and what we can expect.
Hey guys, thanks so much, and thanks for dealing with me casting there for a quick little bit. Thanks, Sean, for eventually being able to get back on. And that's right. With this series concluded, we will now be moving on to our next series, and we're going to be finally dropping down into the elimination bracket to get for our next matchup highlight of the night. And this one's going to be exciting. Right now, the current schedule is Tribe Academy versus the Kardashians, a 1st seed versus a 9th seed. We'll have to see what's happening. We're going to have to sort out some things to make sure that is, in fact, the one we're going to stream. So we are going to take a quick break. But this one has a lot of implications. One of these guys is going to go home. One of these teams is going to move on. And you can imagine just how much of that is hinging on this game. Of course, you have a number 1 seed Kardashians who may not even make it to playoffs going home so early, and a number 9 seed Tribe as well. It would be a heartbreaker for both these teams to nominate.
Yeah, definitely would. But it's going to be an exciting matchup to watch.
Absolutely. It will be. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be jumping into game number 1 of our 3rd series, but it's going to be a decent break, so make sure you guys go grab some popcorn or whatever snacks you need on this Halloween, probably some candy, as we'll be getting right back into the action here live on the VIS channel.
$14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are about ready to start our third and final series of the night, but we do unfortunately need just a few more minutes to sort out a small issue. Once we do, we'll be back ready to get going. So we really apologize for the delay this has caused. Obviously, all of you guys celebrating Halloween, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back in action in just a few more minutes. So sorry again for the long break, but give us just a few more minutes to get this sorted out. Again, we will be starting when we come back. It will be Tribe Academy versus the Kardashians. It's going to be an exciting matchup. You're not going to miss it because the implications are enormous for both these rosters looking to make their way to the top. We'll see you guys in a few seconds. Hey everybody, welcome back. We had to get some things sorted out. We had a long break, but we're ready to go, and we are ready to get into our next matchup. Denominate, I know you're excited for this one. This one I am too. Let's jump right into it. This is going to be, that's right guys, Kardashians versus Tribe Academy. And who would have thought jumping down to the elimination bracket would be these two teams? Again, both teams that had a lot of high expectations coming into the split, and now they're both fighting for their lives and a chance to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and obviously the Kardashians, the team that were able to take everything during the first split, it is going to be a huge weight on them right now. You know, if they want a chance to come back into things and, you know, try to get into that challenger spot again, it will be the top three teams that at the end of season, you know, if they don't get there, I mean, that's, you know, everything they did in split one to get themselves that number one seeding is all going to be gone.
Exactly. And it's such a crazy turn of events. But of course, we're ready to get into this matchup here, ready to get into the action. And I got to be honest, like this is kind of one of those matchups that, you know, could have been a winner's bracket matchup. But now it is one that, you know, we'll be seeing here in the elimination bracket. Oh, and we do gotta switch that here real quick, as we should be getting into the draft here in just a few seconds. Yeah, it's pretty wild to nominate, to be honest, that, you know, Kardashians, they really played incredible last split, and now they are fighting for life. Now, granted, they've only lost to one team. They have beat everybody else. We'll just see how it goes.
And as we get into the draft here, it looks like the Kardashians already prepared to take the Kroll off the board. If that's the case, I would imagine the Rhyme comes off very shortly thereafter. Ooh, they might even switch it up to a Reza ban. Oh, and the Rhyme answers very quickly back. So,
yeah, well, not surprised about the Rhyme ban there.
Yeah, Rhyme, very high win percentage. And now Stormy Cross is going to first pick the Black Feather for his team here. And this is interesting. We've seen, you know, a couple teams do this tonight, and the Rona almost certainly comes out to counter it. And we already see Tribe lining that one up. And that is a pretty difficult matchup for a weapon Blackfeather, at least. I actually do think this is one of the times that a Crystal Blackfeather can be useful. He offers a lot of long-range poke, as well as provides himself a pretty sizable barrier. So it could even have been the Kardashians baiting the Rona out. We'll just have to see how the rest of the draft goes before we know. But I'm going to have to say an Arden... Oh, my goodness, a Churnwalker.
Whoa. Churnwalker coming out here with the Rona. This could be so interesting. Can you imagine the damage that would be going through with when you have all those chains locked in, and then you also have a red mist proc? That could be absolutely insane. So that would be not the kind of look. We haven't seen really Churnwalker paired with so many people yet, as he is still fairly new in the fold.
Yeah, and it's a Samuel locked in for the Kardashians, so that is committing the weapon Blackfeather. And this is a pretty risky pick. Another, you know, you were just touching a little bit about the chains and the shared damage and the red mist. That's very, very true and could scale up a lot of damage very, very quickly. The other interaction that I'm really looking at with that one is the Torment actually yanking players back into the red mist, followed by a Trespass, would give Rona so much uncontrollable damage. It is now a Taka locked in for laid to rest, and that should provide him a bit of burst against the Samuel on the backline.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage, and that's exactly what they kind of wanted here. I really like the draft so far here, actually coming out of Tribe. I think it's a fun draft, and Kardashians really have a lot of work, even though I do think that they do have a lot of damage.
They do, and it's going to be FPG in the lane with this Blackfeather and Stormy Cross in the jungle with the Samuel. And now it is a triple melee composition, and that is really where Samuel excels the most. But with the Churnwalker able to pull him back in if he lands a hook and chain would be kind of devastating to his position, especially if you can yank him out of his Drifting Dark.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into the fold, so I'm going to kick it over to our casters, Denominate and Sean Astino, to take it away.
All right, Sean, you heard him. Last series of the game, we got the Kardashians up against Tribe. The only team that these two teams have lost to is Hazard, who have been looking absolutely amazing. So both of these teams are in a position now in the losers bracket where this is their last chance to make it to the playoffs.
This is their last chance. I'm really excited to see how this game goes. We know that hooks and chains are already in there, but we know that Kardashians got first seed because of how well they performed last time. Super Shots diving in pretty deep.
They are, and now it's Stormy Cross on the back foot, but a good drifting dark gonna help him get into a little bit better position. Pool had chains on all three enemies there in that fight. In fact, has all three chains again. He's been pretty accurate with these hooks so far, and that's already not looking good for the side of the Kardashians, as they definitely took the worst half of that trade as far as any damage is concerned. Now Stormy Cross just looking to return to his jungle, try to get some of the farm up here, as FPG and Marto struggling right now against Super Shot and Pool. Here comes FPG, not quite able to get the kill onto Pool, though. He will make it out alive. But now, as he is forced to recall, he is going to miss out on some of that ambient lane gold, as he's going to have to top himself off. Flasks have been used across the board for the side of Tribe, and Stormy Cross was the only one to use his healing flask on the side of the Kardashians. So if another fight were to break out, I'm going to have to give an edge a little bit over to the side of the Kardashians, because that barrier and healing in the early game is just so potent.
Yeah, we have a lot. The barrier from Arden is just so strong this patch. It got a bit of a buff. Same thing with his blood for blood. Oh, the chains prevent Marto from backing. Just the annoyance coming out of Turnwalker is so good. But it's an interesting interaction that we actually see between the captains here. Marto on Arden, he wants to protect and facilitate with engaging and disengaging from the fights, whereas Pool on this Turnwalker wants to misposition the enemy heroes. He wants to move them around if they're kiting backwards or trying to back away to disengage. He wants to be able to pull them back with those torments. And of course, he can easily stun someone up once he has someone chained with his trespass, his ultimate. So once he hits level 6, I would expect to keep an eye on Pool on this Turnwalker. Laid to rest here. Once he hits his level 6 as well, and he gets his once he gets his X-Retsu, he's going to be doing some serious burst damage, which could be conferred to other targets that are chained up as well.
Stormy Cross was able to steal away that Elder Treant there, so Laid to Rest's time and dedication into that objective has gone to waste. And now it's going to be Stormy Cross rotating to the backs to get some of his own gold, as well as Marto going to be hanging out for the ambient as well. And now they might even look to rotate up to the lane after that one. Samuel going to need to get a little bit more crystal power before he's totally affected. But oh no, Stormy Cross, you're caught in a rough spot. Hook and Chain comes in. Torment's going to follow up soon. Oh, Super Shot turned away. And that is going to allow Stormy Cross to get out alive. And once Pool gets to that level 8, it's going to be interesting to see if he overdrives that Hook and Chain for the extended range, or if he overdrives the Torment to get the additional pull effect.
Yeah, and there's actually some, we are actually starting to see tier 3 items picked up by across the board here. We see Super Shot. He just picked up that Serpent's Mask in the shop. He prioritized that over going after Stormy Cross. And we do have a fountain that just came out for Marto. Looks like Pool is still working on his fountain. He's actually just picked it up right now, and he's picked himself up a minion candy as well. If they're going to be able to use that effectively, you know, it's going to allow them to get a good push on the turret. Serpent's Mask as well picked up by FPG on this Black Feather, and that's going to allow him to get some good sustain in as well as a little bit of weapon power damage too. Stormy Cross has not yet hit his first power spike. He's got an Eclipse Prism and a Heavy Prism there, and I would expect him to be going towards a Dragon's Eye.
Yeah, Samuel, very easy to ramp that up. And, you know, talking a little bit about the power spike on Samuel, his first power spike isn't really until late in the game. Here comes an X-Retsu, going to get a chunk of damage down onto Stormy Cross. It's going to take him down, as well as a follow-up Hook and Chain, going to drop him below half the initial damage, and then that also ticking damage over a couple seconds. making short work of Stormy Cross's health. X-Retsu now used on the turret. They're looking for damage here. The minion candy was popped, but now with the Drifting Dart coming out, they are going to have to evacuate as Samuel into triple melee can get so much damage. Another X-Retsu comes in. It doesn't have quite the effect he was hoping for there. And now Marto chained up. Pool did get slept, but this fight is getting crazy. Laid to Rest has gone in now onto Stormy Cross, but not able to find enough damage to bring him down. That flask was popped. This fight's still going on. Super Shot onto FPG, but taking the worst of that trade as Stormy Cross is able to come through with a Malice and Verdict and take him down. First blood to the Kardashians.
First blood, Kardashians taking it at 6 minutes in. The gold is still even across the board, and that fight just went on forever. Stormy Cross ends up taking out Laid to Rest. An Aftershock picked up by Laid to Rest. Wow. So that Dragon's Eye did just get picked up by Stormy Cross. And the Oblivion actually played a pretty big part in that fight. It actually put 2 members to sleep. It put Super Shot and Pool to sleep as well, reducing the damage output that was coming out of Super Shot and the ability to misposition the members of their Kardashians from Pool. It ended up working in the Kardashians' favor. Looks like we have an Aftershock picked up by Laid to Rest as well. So that's a good item power spike for him. He's gonna be able to dive in and get some of that burst damage down. It's not a heavy amount of burst damage, but he's gonna be able to get some lifesteal out of that. Super Shot goes in.
Here we go. Super Shot is in, and he's finding a lot of red mist damage. Stormy Cross so low. Marto with a perfect fountain there at the end. Oh my goodness, a Trespass gonna lock up that gauntlet. Beautiful timing out of Pool there. Laid to Rest did get slept and is going to have to be cautious of this scout trap here. He finds a Malice and Verdict to the mouth. And now the Drifting Dark is back and ready to go. Pool's in a rough spot. Stormy Cross missing a couple of those Malices, but he's going to find enough to get Pool. And now Laid to Rest looking to get a return kill. Not quite able to find it. Super Shot has now overcommitted as well. Pops the flask of his own, pops the red mist to build up some fortified health, and he's actually going to make it out alive. And now it is Laid to Rest coming back and looking for the final bit of damage on FPG. Will he make it out? No, Stormy Cross with the blind Malice and Verdict, able to take him down. And Kardashians put their 4th kill on the board.
The fadeaway Malice and Verdict, just to guess. Okay, he's probably going to be heading towards his own turret. Yeah, let's just go ahead and throw it that way. The AoE damage is just so good. What actually went bad for Pool, I felt, in that last team fight, was that you've got to have Churnwalker in the middle, in the fray of battle, to be able to reposition and misposition the enemy team. But that's also his downfall. Even though he can confer a lot of damage and heal up at the same time, he has to be near the enemies. Of course, once he's able to invest a lot of points into his hook and chains and his torment, it's going to be able to allow him to have a longer range on those chains. But the thing is that he's got to get a little bit tankier. He's got to get a Crucible so he can block some of these abilities, like that Oblivion. He's been slept twice already. If he's going to fall into a deep sleep, thanks to Stormy Cross, he's going to be him, and whoever is near him on his team is just going to be an easy target to nominate.
Yeah, it's going to be all about the Crucible coming out of him to block that one up. And then it's going to kind of rely on his teammates to block the gauntlet for themselves. Again, he's been very accurate with the hook and chain, so I'm excited to see him moving on to the late game. And, here we go. All 6 members of this game are in. Laid to Rest goes in with an X-Retsu, who found a lot of damage onto Samuel. This Oblivion does get blocked that time around. Pool very low himself is possibly going to drop here. FPG has gone in. Super Shot pops the red mist to get himself some of that fortified health. Will Samuel tick out here to the X-Retsu? He does. That passive bleed damage is so strong. The Trespass comes through, is going to lock Arden up, but now Super Shot very low is going to have to get out of here. And Laid to Rest is looking for the turret. He's not done. I think he's found it. Oh no, the barrier came back. And he is going to lose his life, taking too many turret shots. Super Shot's now back in onto FPG. Can he find the kill? He will. And now Marto on the run. Super Shot may be able to get this turret, but Marto is doing a good job holding the minions back. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but Stormy Cross now here should be able to find the kill onto Super Shot pretty easily. The Crucible coming out just to try to give Super Shot a chance to get out. It's not going to help, though. And now Stormy Cross getting some good damage on Pool as well, and is going to rotate down into the jungle. But here comes Laid to Rest. Will they be able to find it? The boots are used by both players, and it's going to get Stormy Cross just out of harm's way.
The thing with Stormy Cross is he's got a lot of damage with that Dragon's Eye and the Broken Myth as well. He's able to get Pierce to bypass, get that shield breaker. Super Shot just picked up an Aegis. So it is going to be, we're still going to have that Broken Myth piercing through that, but at least he's got an Aegis, which is going to be giving him good shielding. Now, we saw in that last fight, Super Shot did get taken out. He was so low. As soon as Stormy Cross came in, that CP damage wiped him out. Pool, good block coming out of him on that Crucible. And he was able... Oh, the Gauntlet comes down.
Down, and we are seeing a lot of traded damage here. The Oblivion goes wide, and Super Shot is forced to get out. Here comes the Fountain, and will he be able to come back in? Pool's taking a lot of damage as well. Stormy Cross doing such a great job here. Here comes the Trespass, stunning 2 underneath the turret, and Tribe has turned this fight around a bit. Super Shot still has to be very careful, and Laid to Rest as well. It is only Marto that is hurt on the Kardashians. They're keeping the aggression up. These Malice and Verdicts are finding good damage. Will they be able to push an objective off of it, though? They're trying. The Drifting Dark is down. Laid to Rest has come in, but a Vanguard out of Marto is going to get him out. Samuel does find a kill onto the Churnwalker, and now Super Shot is forced to leave. Kardashians are going to return a turret of their own, and they answer back with that objective. And with Churnwalker down for 5 more seconds, he should be on the fold here pretty quickly, but it is going to be a half rotation, or at least that treant out of Laid to Rest jungle. And Samuel is so far ahead in CS right now, but that's kind of because his rotations to the lane, the Drifting Darks trying to find damage, he's actually taken a lot of lane farm more than he's actually taken away from Laid to Rest. And as a result, we're seeing that deficit as FPG is only at 105 CS to Super Shot's almost 140.
Yeah, there's an interesting dynamic that's actually going on between, Laid to Rest. He wants to dive. He wants to get on the Samuel. I would keep my eye on Stormy Cross, actually. Check out Stormy Cross for the rest of the game. Check out Pool for the rest of the game, too. Churnwalker, he's having an impact in these fights. But Stormy Cross, he's at 6-1 right now. He's doing so much work for the Kardashians. Pool, the Gauntlet comes down.
Gauntlet is down. These fights are just coming out back to back. Oblivion is going to get blocked up, and Laid to Rest going to have that X Retsu back online in just a couple seconds. He's very hurt himself, though. FPG, can you find the kill? You will, and that's another lead going over to Kardashians now. They're looking for Pool. They find him, and now Super Shot is going to have to get out of here. His Into the Fray is up in right now, actually, and he's looking to find FPG with it. It is not going to be enough to save his life. They don't find it quick enough. They trade out 1-1 in the last end of that fight, but it is an ace for the Kardashians. It's a second turret for the Kardashians. They are not looking to go down without a fight here, and this Samuel is coming online very early, getting so far ahead in CS. Dragon's Eye and Broken Myth, like you mentioned, as well as working into that third item, that Eve of Harvest, the additional sustain that he'll be able to get, especially into a triple melee composition, is huge. But now Laid to Rest is back in here in this fight, looking for Stormy Cross. Drifting Dark is used. Oblivion is thrown out. It is going to be Laid to Rest finding the kill. A Trespass coming out of Pool is going to stun up Marto, but the tanky captain, I think, is going to make it out here safely, as FPG now going to rotate over. And, an on point lands on the Laid to Rest. Laid to Rest is low on energy, but with Super Shot joining his teammates, FPG is going to have to just turn around and get out of here safely. And now 15 minutes in, the Kraken's on the board. FPG has not given up the aggression. He's looking for more, finds an on point onto Laid to Rest. Super Shot looking to rejoin the team now. It is a 3v1. Marto's on his way over. FPG now in a 1v1 trade with Rona. Gonna lose that one out if he sticks around. They are going to just go ahead and head back to their side. In fact, FPG going to go ahead and recall and, maybe upgrade his boots, maybe get an infusion. There's the infusion.
What a long bunch of team fights we just had there, Denamine. I wanted to draw your attention actually to the one that took place in the lane. So we had Stormy Cross kiting around the fight, backing down south, and doing so much AoE damage with his empowered Malice and Verdicts. Doing that and allowing FPG to do a lot of work, the Gauntlet actually just off the mark there. But Stormy Cross, he was able to just do so much damage, and now we have another engage.
Yeah, we do. This game has been non-stop aggression from both teams, trading kills back and forth. The Kardashians have come out ahead so far, but Tribe looking to change that. But Stormy Cross having absolutely none of that. The fountain is popped by Pool, but it's not enough to save his life. Will they trade one for one at least? No, Stormy Cross is able to get out. They find Super Shot and now laid to rest, incredibly hurt himself, looking to run. A good on point's going to land. The vision is going to help them get the kill. It's an ace for the Kardashians. It's a Kraken for the Kardashians, as well as FPG going to go ahead, head up into the lane, force the ace wave underneath the turret. Should even probably be able to take it. Pool's going to be the only one up, and he's got a whole 5 seconds before that's even the case.
Really smart move from the Kardashians here, sending Black Feather, FPG, into the lane and taking down that choke point turret so the Kraken doesn't have a percentage of health damage done to her. Now, the Kraken is on the leash. Now that she is on the leash, it's going to be a lot harder for her to be taken. The Kraken does have higher health now while she is captured, as opposed to in previous patches. Things are looking really good. Again, it's such a difficult situation for laid to rest Super Shot and Pool here, because if they're not able to take down FPG, then Stormy Cross just backs up, kites the fight, and does so much AoE damage with these empowered Malice and Verdicts. Tribe really have a difficult situation ahead of them.
Yeah, they do. Laid to rest is onto the backline as well as Pool. Now Super Shot's coming in, but it's Pool dropped very, very quickly. The whole team of Kardashians are still very healthy. The Kraken is on the Vein Crystal turrets at least, and now they're chasing down Laid to rest. He's going to go in for one last X-Ret, so he's not going to make it out alive. And with Pool and Laid to rest down, unless if Super Shot can pull off a miracle here, this should be the Kardashians taking game number 1. This Kraken's still at half health. All of the Kardashians still relatively healthy. Stormy Cross sitting around half. But with that Eve of Harvest, we'll be all right, especially with the Vanguard coming off of cooldown for Marto. And that indeed is game number 1 for the Kardashians, proving, yes, we may have lost early on, but they fought their whole way back through the elimination bracket, taking down every team to get to this point, and they're looking for their spot in the playoffs.
Wow, victory going over to the Kardashians. It's good to see them pick up a win here in this first game, but laid to rest and the rest of Tribe just trying to, I could see what they were trying to do here with this Taka, trying to burst down the Samuel on the back line, but they just weren't having any of it. The Stormy Cross, the name of the game was Kite. He just kept backing off, letting FPG do the work, brawl in there, get the protection from Marto, and Pool, I could see he was trying to facilitate throwing down those chains, but there wasn't enough damage conferred. And it's an interesting thing because you have the AoE damage coming out of Rona, but it's a double melee composition. I feel like they just weren't able to do enough damage with Rona, and the burst damage was just too late for Laid to rest.
Well, thanks guys for the breakdown as we look to get into our next game here of this series. Again, this is our final series, and that was a heck of a game at that, Denamine. Kardashians, they are the number 1 seed here in this tournament. Again, going up against a crazy Cinderella story, which really changed things, but they look like they've come into their form here. They really played just so concise, so determined, really, and they kind of have to. They are fighting for their lives right now here in the Challenger Series.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kardashians come up 1 game over to Tribe. Tribe, very capable, though. They are a team that could push us to a game 3 for this last series. And I sure hope they do so, because that was an exciting matchup to watch. Neither team let up the aggression at any point during that game. but it was the Kardashians finding an inch here and there that helped push them over the top. They get the Kraken, and with one fell swoop of a push, they take down the Vayne, and they are, they've got to be feeling confident for game number 2.
Yeah, they really have to be, as we look to get into this really soon, and of course get the draft underway. Kardashians, they felt really kind of robbed, not playing their best, being kind of surprised and upset in the first game of the entire tournament. And so now they're taking every game. They have this focus. At least they have to have it. And they've come in tonight. You saw it. They were going up against some real off the wall composition coming out of Tribe. Tribe really trying to, I think, surprise Kardashians, but it didn't work. The Black Feather, again, is one of those heroes that you've got to make sure you shut out right away. Otherwise, he will just snowball the game on you. And that's really exactly what happened there in game number 1. But we're getting in the second game, Denominate. Let's jump right down into the draft as game number 2 starts. Tribe will switch over onto A side as they are now up for their first ban. And we have seen, typically, it has been Blackfeather and Rhyme that have been banned. We saw that change, and I think Tribe might be regretting how that draft went out. Just the fact that they did allow the Blackfeather through. Now they have a chance to take Blackfeather away and force the Rhyme ban. But instead they go with the Lyra, so maybe looking to pick Blackfeather in this case.
Yeah, maybe looking to do so. But we'll have to see what this next band coming out is. I would expect it to be the Rhyme, but we'll have to see for sure. Obviously, Rhyme's win rate right now is incredibly high. So, giving that pick over, it's even a pretty safe first pick. There's not a whole lot that counters him. There's definitely ways around him, but it's still very difficult to do so. They do go ahead and take that one off, not having any of that, and now we'll try and pick up that Blackfeather first. Only time will tell.
We will see. They are going to go with Ardent first, giving Kardashians Blackfeather. Again, I have to imagine Kardashians take Blackfeather. I'm really not sure if Tribe has the solution to just absolutely lock Blackfeather out in these matchups. Maybe. We haven't seen Alpha being utilized here. That's something Kardashians might have to think about as we get into the draft is, all right, well, what could they possibly pull out? They know how our Blackfeather plays. Maybe Kardashians don't take the bait. Fortress going to be coming out here. This could be that carry Fortress we've seen utilized already. And Blackfeather and Alpha, 2 picks that I think still on the board that make a lot of sense for Kardashians to pick here, as they will end up going with the Blackfeather.
Yeah, they go with the Blackfeather, and now I do still think the Rona is a smart pick into the Blackfeather, especially when paired up with the Arden. It didn't work out for him last game, but I almost feel like that was more at fault of Taka, and not because the Taka was played bad. I don't feel like Taka was the right pick in that situation. It does look like they, however, are going to switch things up and go for the Vox. And Blackfeather is actually pretty decent into Vox if you can get a little bit of an edge early. In the late game, it's definitely a lot of hyper carry potential coming out of a Vox. And it might be a Kroll coming out now for a Tribe. And that would be a pretty aggressive double weapon power composition. And there it is.
Yeah, Cruel. When Alpha's not left on the board, Cruel does offer a lot of control. Now here, Kardashians are eyeing the Ozo. And Dave, we talked about Ozo has a lot of potential. Maybe going with the Pledal. But with no Lyra and with the Cruel Vox, Ozo would be way harder to deal with. They end up picking up the poke hero from Samuel. Paired with the Fortress, this could be interesting. I'm actually a little sad. I was really hoping for a more exciting, Ozo play, but this is still a good pick, Denominate, right?
It is a good pick. Stormy Cross had a really good performance on it last game, so hopefully we'll be able to see the same come out from him, and we'll have some very aggressive trade-offs like we did in that last game. I'd like to see Tribe win here, just because I would like to see these two teams go to a game 3 because there's so much on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we are getting ready to get into this matchup here, so I'm going to kick it over to our casters, Denominate and Sean Estino, to take it away.
All right, Sean, potentially the last game of the night, if Kardashians are able to close it out here. Could be the second to last game of the night, if Tribe is able to pull things together and take a win here. very possible with the Vox. We know how potent the Vox can be in the late game, especially with a Krull and an Arden on the team, but with the Blackfeather and the Samuel again for the side of the Kardashians, I gotta imagine they're feeling pretty comfortable with their draft as well.
I think they are denominated. They did so well with Blackfeather and Samuel last game that they were able to just really they didn't quite steamroll the game, but they just had a small edge that they continued to push and push and push. But here we have a change up in the composition for Tribe. We've got Cruel here. We've got Vox. Obviously, it's going to be a double weapon composition. So it's kind of a dangerous thing because we're going to have to see on the side of Kardashians, they're going to have to itemize it's going to make their itemization actually easier. They're just going to have to build metal jackets. Once they're able to do that, they should be set. On the other hand, laid to rest on this Cruel, he could build a bone saw. Building the bone saw, it's going to shred that armor up, and that's going to allow them to bypass a lot of that armor itemization coming out of the Kardashians.
Yeah, the bone saw apparently shreds through your solid metal armor, but definitely a useful item, especially when you are in a double weapon power composition. Obviously, able to bring someone's defenses down allows both of your carries to increase their damage. And Stormy Cross, you're in a rough spot here. It's actually Pool forcing him out, very low on health. He has not used a flask yet, so he will still have that good to go, as well as obviously getting that Treant was able to heal him up quite a bit as well. But Pool Boots is in looking for that one as well, not able to find it. I got to give him credit for the attempt, but that's a long cooldown now that your boots are burned.
Wasted his boots, but still, it's funny to see the dynamics in the game, not unlike real life, where you kind of want to it's almost like in the boxing ring or in a UFC ring. You gotta go in there and kind of pressure the other person with your posturing. If you're able to do that, you can see what kind of metal they've got. But Arden Pool here, he's going to have to be a really big facilitator for his team. Namely, he's going to need to give Vanguards a lot to his carries. Laid to rest, if he gets Vanguards in combination with those Dead Man's Rushes or Shadows Empower Me perks with his movement speed, that's going to give them a lot of say-so and who they can jump onto and stick to in these team fights. That Elder Treant went over to Stormy Cross there. So it looks like, oh, hey, check this out. Heavy Prism picked up by Super Shot. He could be going CP Vox.
He could be, and I think it has an interesting dynamic. You can use those resonance bounces to clear out the Fortress Wolves. We actually saw, I believe it was Mixi last week pull it out, but it's Marto dropping and giving First Blood over to Laid to Rest here. The Crystal Vox, we saw it last week, have an incredible amount of damage output. There was a lot of controversy actually in the chat that the Crystal Vox wasn't doing anything, but he did 100,000 damage. Yep. It was just, there was so much fortified health at the time that's all he was damaging really was the fortified health between the Rona, the Rhyme, and the Finn. And, now this isn't a triple melee composition, so that makes it a little bit risky to run this. There's a lot of opportunity to force the Blackfeather out, but you have to get to a point that you come online to do so.
I remember the exact game you were talking about. I was just listening to it today. But yeah, it was 97,000 something damage. Tasty Bacon looked that up, and that astounded me too. But it's crazy that they weren't able to win the game. But again, yeah, it was because of barriers. Having a lot of health barriers here on heroes, of course you're not going to be able to penetrate that. It's going to be very difficult for a CP Vox to get through that still. But here, we don't have that many barriers. We do have a barrier that comes out for Marto on this fortress when he summons his wolves. That's that and the barrier that we get for the on point from FPG. That's about it. We don't have a barrier for Stormy Cross, and these guys are way squishier than a Rhyme, Rona, and a Finn. So it could potentially be something that Kardashians are going to have to watch out for.
Yeah, they definitely might have to. And obviously Marto has already dropped as well, so that will need to make note. As well as once Super Shot does build up a decent amount of crystal power, he does have the alternating current right now, but it's not a lot of base crystal power. Once he ramps up, it is actually going to make it difficult for FPG to farm. Even though he has the Serpent's Mask and the Light Shield, he has to build defense very quickly if he wants to survive those resonance bounces in the lane. I'm interested to see what route the build goes on Super Shot for this Crystal Vox. Obviously, right now, Crystal Vox lacking in the direct target damage. That was taken away from him quite some time ago. He used to do 50% of his crystal power on his basic attacks. That's no longer a thing. So I would expect an Aftershock and probably a Dragon's Eye, but
I would expect a Dragon's Eye next to nominate, but here's an Engage.
Yeah, little one breaking out. Not a whole lot going on yet. It is Tribe chasing. They get some damage onto Marto here, but it is FPG now getting into that backline. The fountain is going to get popped by Pool, and Marto has used his as well, and that's going to result in both teams just going ahead and disengaging here. FPG looking to return to the lane, but not wanting to get caught out in that mustache bush. He's going to rotate up, but it's Laid to Rest coming over. He is going to steal that farm away right before Stormy crosses eyes. A little bit of salt in the wounds there, but those wounds are very small right now as Stormy Cross does have a level advantage. So it is actually a slight gold lead as well on the side of Tribe, thanks to the rotations that Stormy Cross has been able to make. Despite the first blood going on to Laid to Rest, they're still behind.
Yeah, they're behind by a few hundred gold. Looks like 400. Kardashians are getting a little bit aggressive here, but I was actually doing a little research here on Vox builds, and alternating current Broken Myth would be the next item, but he could potentially be building towards something else. He's got an Eclipse Prism, so that's still kind of open.
Laid to Rest. Aftershock second.
Aftershock would be second. All right.
Oh, so Gauntlet is here, and Stormy Cross dropped dangerously low. Laid to Rest is actually going to find that one. The stun is going to come through onto Marto. Will they find a second kill? They will, and now it's FPG on the backline looking for Super Shot. Will he find it? One more attack will do. The Rose offensive is going to come through, but now under the turret, it's going to be 1 second remaining. Tribe find an ace, and with this ace wave, they're going to force it up underneath this turret. They should be able to take it no problem. Samuel's a long way away and is actually not even coming up to contest that one, knowing that it's gone. So Stormy Cross just looking to go ahead and get his farm up. And I think what's important to note here is Stormy Cross, he used to obviously play on Rogue and actually did sub in against TSM. They were able to beat TSM, so we know what Stormy Cross is capable of. So despite the lead early here on Tribe, you have to remember Samuel is a late game hero.
He is a late game hero, and if they continue to allow him to just survive and deal out damage, then he can really put the pain on Tribe. Just like right now, he's got those Empowered Malice and Verdicts, he's got Dragon's Eye, he's going to be stacking up the damage. Look at that, 328 damage on one Malice and Verdict is just chunking the life from Super Shot right now. So they have to be really careful on the side of Tribe. Laid to Rest does have a tension bow picked up. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, Fox. FPG got destroyed there as Laid to Rest is now chasing onto Marto. Attack of the Pack is used, but it is not going to do much without your team there other than giving that fortified health. Super Shot and Laid to Rest are on the chase. They're finding a kill. They're finding a Crystal Sentry for their trouble. And Stormy Cross is coming over to get some poke down there, but it's not going to be enough. Instead, now he is looking for his farm. He still has that level advantage over Laid to Rest as of now. In fact, is almost to level 10. But now with this gold miner started up, Pool senses something's going on, comes over and spots out Kardashians rotating in. Gold miner is about half. And with Stormy Cross's poke coming in, I do think Tribe has to be pretty careful here. FPG finding good damage onto Super Shot. They're going to find the kill. They find a second onto Laid to Rest. Pool's going to use the gauntlet to try to get out, but I think FPG's got it. A triple kill, an ace come through for the Kardashians. They're going to get the gold payout as well, and they're going to get a first turret. And just like that, things were looking so good for the side of Tribe, and the Kardashians turn it around 2-3 as that gold miner was making short work of Super Shot and Laid to Rest trying to tank that one up.
6-4 now. I wanted to point out the net worth, actually. So we had a deficit. We actually had the Kardashians. They were probably 2,000 or 3,000 gold behind. But because of this gold swing, they are now 2,000 gold up. There's just so much that is going in their favor now. And FPG doing so much work. He's got the breaking point. He's got the Serpent's Mask. I'm not sure if he had the breaking point during that fight, but he was just able to just stay in there. And from the back line, Stormy Cross throwing those empowered Malice and Verdicts into the Tribush was able to do so much AoE damage that it ended up just destroying Tribe, and all FPG had to do was execute them. He actually ignored the Gauntlet with his Rose offensive, and he just continued to chase down Pool. That ended up being a beautiful ace for them.
Yeah, it definitely did. The Dragon's Eye was the second item to come out. You'd mentioned that earlier. I thought with the Eclipse Prism, maybe going for the Aftershock. That was not the case. That's just what he had the gold for at the time. And now the Kardashians have a wave forced up to turret here, but they have to be careful. Super Shot clears out minions very quickly. He actually is forced to use the Flask as Stormy Cross finds a good Malice and Verdict. As Kroll is trying to find something in the jungle, they stun up Blackfeather. Here comes the Oblivion. It is going to put the Crystal Sentry to sleep. And now they're on to FPG. The Gauntlet comes in. Who is going to drop here? Marto and FPG make it out of the Gauntlet. Stormy Cross trying to throw some Malice and Verdicts over the wall. Actually did find a sizable hit onto Super Shot. And nobody's going to drop. And as a result, both teams just going to return to their farming, as well as obviously the side of Kardashians rotating over to the shop. They pick up some flares here and get ready to get the aggression back on. They're rotating up. Super Shot is forced back at this point. Another Malice and Verdict connects. Not even an empowered one, chunking away Super Shot's health.
Thank goodness that we actually had a reflex block on Marto. He doesn't have a Crucible yet, but I think he wants to pick one up just to help his team out and protect against those gauntlets. However, FPG, good work on this Blackfeather. He's able to ignore that gauntlet, just Rose offensive out, and we have Engage.
Yeah, we do. It's both teams taking a lot of damage, but Laid to Rest taking the most of it. FPG's locked up again. Oblivion's coming out. It puts 3 to sleep. They find Laid to Rest. And now the Kardashians might even be looking to find more. That turret is getting ready to drop. Oh, FPG has to Rose offensive out. They are going to find the kill. FPG lives with like 10 health. They find a kill onto Super Shot. They're not going to be able to find Pool, but Kardashians find a turret and 2 kills off of that push. 4,000 gold in the lead now, and FPG actually recalled all the way to base to top his health off. And Marto and Stormy Cross now working their way back to safety as well, but not without taking a little bit of additional farm away from the side of Tribe.
Super Shot has picked himself up in Eve of Harvest now. He wants to sustain. He wants to get himself some more energy regen in these team fights. But the thing is, I don't feel like he's surviving long enough in these team fights to make that much of a difference. I feel like if you look up that damage output later on for Super Shot on this Fox, it's not going to be nearly that 100,000 that we saw on Mixi last week. And this gold miner is getting bursted down, but Tribe wants to contest.
Yeah, Tribe wants to contest, but will they have enough to do so? Pool comes in. There's the From Hell's Heart. It is Blackfeather that secures the gold mine, and it is going to be Stormy Cross dropping first. And just like that, Tribe looking to push anything they have. Rose offensive out, and a block coming through, going to get FPG out to safety. Fortunately, they do trade 1 life for the gold mine. So Tribe finds something off of it, but that's still a big 1,200 payout to the team of the Kardashians. They're now trying to force this turret up, but with FPG and Marto returning to the lane, they're not going to be able to get much out of it other than Kroll rotating through the jungle and taking down that Crystal Sentry.
Yeah, that Crystal Sentry is a small win for Tribe right there, other than killing Stormy Cross, who has pretty much been kiting away from everything they've been throwing at him. He has an Infusion picked up. Infusion's actually being picked up and put in the pockets of Laid to Rest. And Super Shot's already popped his, actually. So we're going to see if that makes a difference in these team fights coming up. But Kardashians picking up Infusions across the board, and it looks like they want to fight. They're just going to just rotate up into the lane, see if they can spot anybody out. We do have that. We have Serpent's Mask, Heavy Steel, actually. I'm curious to see what FPG is going to be working into there. We also have a Broken Myth on Stormy Cross, so he's going to be able to bypass some of that shield.
Yeah, the Kraken is awakened. We're now 15 minutes into the game. Laid to Rest is on Stormy Cross. They find a kill. And just like that, Tribe could find themselves in a good situation. But it's Marto getting a return kill. They turn their attention onto Super Shot quickly. I think they have enough in the 2v2. They secure a kill. FPG, I think you're being a little greedy here. Here comes the Gauntlet, a double stun. Here comes the Rose offensive over the wall. The chase ensues as FPG is looking for Pool. The Crystal Sentry now turning onto him. I'm not sure if Pool's going to make it out alive, but he's buying his team a lot of time. One more second, not going to happen. They will take down this Crystal Sentry. 2 lives remaining, but I don't think the Kardashians have time for the Kraken. They might look to start it up just because it's a 2v3, but with Super Shot and Laid to Rest alive, this could be very risky, especially since Super Shot doesn't have to commit too far in. He can bounce Resonance Bounces to the Kraken, can't bounce them off the Kraken.
There's Laid to Rest.
Could be enough. Laid to Rest is coming in. The stun comes through. They're finding damage onto FPG, but FPG does not care. He's just looking to distract at this point. He does not have another Rose offensive charge to make it out of here, but with the Kraken going down, it's going to heal him up. He's in a perfectly fine spot. The Metal Jacket complete, the Aegis complete, the Serpent's Mask good to go as well, able to sustain in that 2v1. And again, Crystal Vox just does not have single target damage without that Aftershock, and Laid to Rest with the Tension Bow and the Poison Shiv has a lot of utility and burst, but not a ton of sustainable damage.
Oh, things are looking really good for the Kardashians right now. Kraken is on the leash for them. They're approaching this choke point turret, and there is FPG just doing so much work. I loved what he did in that previous team fight with the distraction, allowing them to take the Kraken, and they're just playing it low and slow like they should be when Kraken is on the leash. Maybe they can make something happen here and end the game.
Yeah, they definitely could be looking to do so. The Gauntlet is out. Stormy Cross is forced out of the fight very early on. Oblivion gonna whiff. And now FPG just looking to be a distraction at this point and give the Kraken time to march into those turrets. He is going to make it out safely, but all of the Kardashians are in pretty rough shape right now. So this Kraken going to be working on the last turret. I think they bring it down before it destroys the crystal. Then again, Super Shot does not have single target damage. One more hit will do. Will it happen? Sean on the downswing.
She is taking out the Kraken before she's able to put one more fist on that turret, is not able to do so. But this is a really good position for Kardashians right now, Denominate. If they could just get in there, a potential backdoor, like we can only have one of the members backdoor, which would be FPG. He won't be able to take that thing out by himself. But if he can just if there could be some kind of a distraction, I don't know. We could see anything happen there. This has just been such a crazy game coming out of the Kardashians. If they just win the next team fight, it's going to be gold.
Yeah, it definitely is. And here that fight breaks out. The Gauntlet is used over the wall. Doesn't catch anybody in the stun. FPG is very hurt, but he very likely going to be able to turn around as Marto still has that fountain. They're looking for the chase. They're on to Pool. A on point is going to hit Super Shot. Marto is not done. FPG looking to find anything he can. He's actually got his attention onto Pool right now as he's so low. Rose offensive comes through. They find the captain, and now FPG's onto Super Shot. I think this one is over, Sean. They did force Stormy Cross out, but not in time, unless if Laid to Rest can pull out a 1v3 here, which is not going to happen. That's an ace, and that is the Kardashians making their way to the playoffs, taking down Tribe Academy.
I don't understand what Tribe Academy did. Actually, let me tell you what they did. They let Black Feather through. They let Stormy Cross get this Samuel. It was the same composition virtually that happened in game 1. They let them have the same strategy composition. Dive, distract from this Black Feather, and kite, and do AoE damage with Stormy Cross. Really well done coming out of the Kardashians, and Tribe got punished for it.
They absolutely did. And to help us close out the last game there for the A-side bracket, we're going to be jumping over with Dragonborn to help us close out the night and perhaps give you guys a little bit of insight on what's going to be going on tomorrow as we get into the B half of the brackets.
Hey guys, thank you guys so much. What a game, what a series. Kardashians, the #1 seed, they are going to pull out the victory here and going to be making it to the playoffs. And so we do know at least the 3 teams that have qualified for the playoffs so far here on Group A. And we're going to go through it real quickly for you guys before we close out the stream. Again, thanks for all your patience. We went a little late today. Probably could have closed up a lot sooner. We did have to sort some things out, but everything was taken care of. And let's... honestly, let's jump to it right now, because as we look at Group A, we did know our winner bracket qualifiers that made it all the way through the winner bracket. It is, for the first time ever, a 32-seeded team, Team Hazard, who have qualified here in Group A, as well as number 5 seed necrolyte. A team that beat Misfits, and unfortunately, Misfits down here, they are still playing against a 17th seed right now, but that game is ongoing, and we'll get you guys the results, of course, as soon as we can. They'll be posted on the tournament website as well. But a fantastic 2 teams that made it, though. Fantastic play from both of those. necrolyte really having to grind hard, having to go to all 3 games of their series to make that one happen. As we take a quick look at the elimination bracket, we are still waiting for some updates here, but some that I can quickly go through with you as we get through. So we did get Rome Press Cruci did beat Fate, as they will be moving on to the next round. We'll be getting an update. I believe they actually did just play, and they're playing Misfits right now. So that game is ongoing, and of course we'll get you the updates as well on that one. So they are in the course of playing, and then of course you guys just watched the Kardashians. They made it all the way through. They did beat out their competition as they came and took down Tribe Academy in an incredible matchup, really. We really have to give a lot of props to the teams, even though teams that lost here, because this has been a really challenging Challenger Series. We've seen, just a whole bunch of back and forth matches throughout the entire first 2 weeks. And, of course, more games to come to next week, actually, tomorrow. Oof, what am I talking about? Tomorrow, as we will be getting into Group B in the start of tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. So you guys are not going to miss that. I want to, of course, thanks to everyone for coming out. I hope you guys have enjoyed your Halloween. And, of course, spending time with us here at VIS is greatly appreciated as we bring you guys all the matches here in Challengers. Denominate, it's been an exciting first half of the Challenger Series so far. And we have another half to get going for starting tomorrow.
Yeah, we do. And obviously the matchups we'll be looking in tomorrow is going to be the Y Fighters, as a team that's really impressed a lot of people, versus Echo Fox. Right. That should be, I believe, our second streamed game for tomorrow. As well as we have Vision Gaming up against NRG. So all of these teams, this is... this is the higher seeded of the 2 brackets. Obviously we had Hazards, the number 32, come through all the way to the end. But this is a 2 versus 7 and a 3 versus 6. So tomorrow is going to have some pretty crazy games lined up for us. Y Fighters, that was a team that coming through last split, we really didn't know a whole lot about.
Right.
But, they had a great performance. They secured that number 3 seed. And, that was Nate 4, Attached, and Girls on Boys. And I'm excited to see them play up against Echo Fox. It'll be Selena Gomez, Slada, and Irwin, at least as far as the starting lineups go.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's going to be an exciting matchup for sure. Well, hey, we are going to be getting into those games tomorrow. At 5 p.m. Pacific. Man, I can't seem to talk right now, Denominator.
You almost said next week.
I almost did again, I know. So we're going to be getting those matches tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in. We'll be back here on this channel, so make sure you also hit a follow if you haven't already for more VIS Challenger actions. And until then, good night, everybody, and have a safe and happy Halloween.
only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.